Hey, welcome to Runaways podcast. My name is Cody. We are back for another week, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about. I am moving from I'm moving from Copium to Hopium for this set currently. I think we will find out where everyone else ends up if they're on the same spectrum as me. But we have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about some of the winners from what we're seeing from the current cards that we have released. We're going to talk a little bit about the last week of RTNs and then everything else that we typically get into. But before that, Lucas, how has your week been? How has all the spoiler season been? That now that we finally have a good look at what Hopium or Copium is looking like.
My week in FAB has been really interesting. I've been playing a little bit of some of the decks that I hadn't played before that I think will be good post this set. I've played a little bit with some of the cards from this set, but mostly, yeah, I've just been like brewing and thinking and trying to expend mental energy on fully understanding all the new cards that are coming out. Um, and I think the set is I think it's dopium is what I think it is. Like I think it's cool. Like the set
Okay.
there's a bunch of cool stuff and I think it's going to be looked back on kind of like a dynasty style thing where I feel like it's not going to have that much impact on the meta. It'll probably give a few heroes like it'll change where they're at and like it definitely will affect things, but I think ultimately its impact will be more in the long term and in the archetypes that it supports for the future. But yeah, I think it's a cool set. How much it will actually impact what the top decks in the meta are, you can. That's why we call it Hopium still.
Fair enough. Now, one maybe someone who's a little bit more hopeful, or has to be, you're going to go play in London, Noah. So I know you've been prepping this week, and you also have some cool stream stuff that you've been doing that you can talk about as well. But how has your week in Flesh and Blood been?
This past week's been great. I also we played at AG this past weekend. That was this past weekend, I think, right? Or was that 2 weekends ago?
You're the one that played it.
Who knows? I'm
I don't
pretty sure it
know.
was this past weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this past weekend I played at AG and I won with KO, and it was like one of the first times ever where I played the exact same deck I played the week before. You know,
Oh wow.
I'm sure you know that I'm not one to do this often, so maybe it's a sign that I should have just been doing it the whole time. But anyways, so yeah, that's the first thing that was cool, playing KO again. And then yeah, I've been streaming with Josh. We've just been going live, talking about cards. Last time is more of our normal stream, uh activities, I guess you could say, is where he's basically playing decks. We focused on a bunch of different Silver Age decks on the last stream, and I'm kind of like coaching. We're learning and being entertaining. So feel free to tune into those. We're going to have those routinely every week. We'll post like a more defined schedule, but those will be um, somewhere like 2 to 3 hour range. So we'll get in a lot of games. People can comment in the chat what decks you want to see and like be engaging and stuff. So I think that's a nice way beyond the podcast for y'all to engage with the Runaways. So that's pretty fun. And then yeah, I'm going to London. You can't really, maybe you can see some scraps of this in the background, but I have like mountains of cards. I've just been digging through all my bulk to get all the relevant cards I would need to build Sage decks, both between people like asking to borrow cards and then potential like old cards that I might need of like, oh yeah, let me get this jank blue from Outsiders or whatever that is actually slightly more optimal. So yeah, right now I have a short list of a few decks. I don't know if we're gonna go into like full Sage breakdown here because it's kind of hard to know at this stage what's best and what's worst. But I'm pretty sure most people would agree that the top is like Guardian Slop. There's like the Old Hymn, Valda, Flattering Showman are all strong decks. Then Briar, generic like Runeblade, 0 for 4s, split damage type stuff is good. And then there's a bunch of decks in kind of like one class below that, which is like KO, Azalea, um, maybe some like Fatigue Warriors, uh, and am I forgetting any? I think that's kind
Enigma,
of the Enigma.
Enigma.
Yeah, so yeah, Enigma, Dromai, those like illusionist
Wizard,
decks.
maybe.
I think Wizard is like even one more tier below that. But yeah, there's a decent amount of decks that are in kind of that like S to B tier range. But at least as far as I'm concerned right now, that Fi is also in that area too. Um, at least in that like top sector of just like Guardian putting 4 on defense and Briar putting 4 on offense. You kind of have to overcome that hurdle if you want to succeed in Sage. So yeah, we'll see this weekend if someone is able to crack that. But for now, it looks like those are two like the dominant strategies.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, it's not just Guardian slop, because there's a lot of I think interesting stuff that came out in this set that will impact Silver Age, but a lot to dig through there. Obviously, getting rid of Chain was a massive deal, and actually made the format actually playable. Because it's unplayable when Chain is still in it. Chain just beats everything, and it's sad. So
yeah, at least Briar, you have much more hope of fatiguing them compared to what Chain could set up. Like the ceiling on a Briar turn is relatively capped, given that she can't really go above the 5 cards. Maybe you can consider like using the chest to swing the sword like a 6th card, but she's not pushing over these like 7-8 card setup hands.
Fair. I went and played a Riftbound tournament last weekend, which was fun. Last time playing set 1 before going into set 2. I end up going to both Bologna and Vegas this month for Riftbound, so I've been focusing on that. But obviously, I'm like in Houston at the Riftbound event, literally like between rounds, looking at spoilers, and I'm like, man, these cards are sweet. So I can't wait to dig in to some of those cards that have come out. I'm excited to play some more Flesh and Blood. As this weekend, I'm probably going to meet up with some guys and do some practicing that I can, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the last Artheon week that we had. Out of nowhere, I guess maybe it's not out of nowhere. This is more expected. Marionette won 21 events this past weekend, which is sick. Followed by Syndra at 16, and then Verdance at 14, KO at 9, and Gravy Bones at 8. Any surprising things out of those top 5? That seems like the top 5 to me.
Yeah, it checks out. Just no Acilio.
Acilio was right below that at 6, so Acilio's hard to play, though. But I do think Acilio's probably the best deck of the game, or very close to it. Mario. That's the best deck.
Yeah, I think KO just chugging along, something to keep an eye on. If he continues being in he's good enough to win tournaments tier, he will go away pretty soon. He's at what? I think he's 940, 960, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he should be gone in ProQuest season. It's like pretty hard not to.
Yeah, so assuming that he's still able to win tournaments, which it feels like he probably will be able to. I don't think Copium is gonna, or Compendium is gonna.
Well, actually, to be fair, I don't know how many Battle Hardens KO was winning, but now that Battle Hardens don't exist, there aren't really like just random tournaments for him to win. Like he would have to win a calling, or we have to wait for the next like PQRTN whatever season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's right before April Pro Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I mean, there was no universities legal for Pro Tour.
Yeah, he'll be at 998 for a week, and we'll be. Noah will have his KO deck in his bag, and he'll cry. And it'll be
I still play it for Memphis. Is that a CC tournament?
It is.
It is.
Okay, maybe I'll element Memphis.
So it's a weird situation because this ProQuest format is split between Silver Age and CC. But I don't know how many points are actually going out to CC. I don't know if it's still the full 1,500 or if it's going to be less.
We got the answer somewhere. I don't remember where.
I did not see the answer, but we might have got the answer.
I thought it was because we've seen something like this before. Like I thought there was like already some precedent for it.
There is for when it's draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
But typically it was just like there was a lot less draft, so you ended up getting like 1,200 or 1,100 points or however it worked out.
Yeah.
But this is like a full split season.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's like, oh, here's like a couple of weeks of say Silver Age, and then there's like a break, and then here's the CC. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that works out, but potentially we'll have a bunch of people leave before Pro Tour. We can mention that a little bit as we go by. Pallades did pick up 6 wins as well. Victor also picked up 6 wins, so Guardians doing well. And Jarl picked up 5 wins. There's just 3 Guardians in a row. This is what
we were talking about last week. Like Guardians together are like actually pretty okay, but like none of the Guardians are good enough to win very many tournaments.
Yeah.
Guardians together strong. So all the people need to get together and agree on which Guardian they want to play.
Well, it's just
And
Guardian
then-
slop in both formats. That's what it is. Like
Yeah.
you're just doing stupid fatigue piles, fatiguing people in different ways with different cards. Like whatever. Who cares if it's Channel Lake or tests?
Makes sense. Okay, so looking at this, we have KO that's like 60 points away from being gone. Then we have Verdance, which is like 100 and some change away from being gone as well. So we would probably expect both of those to be gone by Pro Tour. Anything else that we think? I mean, Prism is like higher in points, but they're gonna have to start winning events for that to happen. They might still be legal, but it's very possible. I think those two heroes are just gone going into Pro Tour. Is there any other ones that you think?
It seems like it's going to be pretty close for both of them, though.
It might be.
Yeah,
it might be like
it could be close for KO. Come on, man, he's not that bad.
I don't think it'll be close for KO. I don't see it dramatically changing.
The only thing I could see is if the new set just gets people excited enough that they don't play KO for a little while. But I don't know. I think because there's not new heroes, that's probably not going to be the case. But it is worth noting that like other brutes got support and KO didn't really. So like
also, I don't know if
there's another KO that we'll talk about.
I don't know if we're going to talk about this in the main segment as well, but Fi got some very interesting cards. Fi is 821.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about Fi a little bit when we get there.
So
sure,
he's a potential candidate for bouncing if those new cards actually make him good because he's on that multiplier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just for people to note, KO needs 40 points, 41 points to be exact, to go away. Verdance needs 124 points to go away. Prism needs 126 points to go away. And Fi needs 179 points. After that, we look at Syndra, which is at 222 points needed.
Yeah, so it feels like KO Verdance probably for sure then. And then Fi, I would imagine the only way that Fi LLs is if he like wins a calling or something and then has like a huge adoption increase.
Yeah, what actually matters is if we get 1,500 points in, that could push some more of these out. If we end up with like 800 to 1,000 points, okay, then maybe we don't get all of these guys gone. It's possible.
Also, very important number. Gravy is 623 away. We need to start that countdown now.
Agree.
He's getting close. He's almost halfway there.
He's chugging along.
I mean, he would be he would be a lot further along, but he has the 0.5. So
well, I was gonna say, but that wears off pretty soon, right?
Hopefully. Maybe they can errata the wear off for Gravy Bones. That'll be how they hit him.
High Seas released in June. So for like Nat, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, it was like Nats. So
yep.
Nats next year is when we start to really get them out here.
I don't know. It could be a very interesting Pro Tour. Unfortunately, it does feel like we might have some of these guys like legal a week before and then disappear right before Pro Tour. So we will see. But there's a world where like Syndra's gone by then, depending on what's going on. We do have callings and stuff, so we'll see how that goes. We'll track it down. But I'm excited to see like Verdance and KO gone, to be fair. I like KO, but I'm excited to see both of them go away.
I really like playing decks that are bad into KO, so I would also like to see KO go.
I just think Verdance is the one holding back a lot of these decks, and with both of the wizards out of the format, what does the game look like with no wizards?
Well, both of the wizards and both of the earth heroes.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Acilio is a wizard and probably the best deck in the game. So,
earth, man. Come on. Dude.
No, but the only Stormstriders wizard that's like really hard to interact with, and the only earth heroes that are playing.
Okay. People say like Stormstriders, but Acilio basically has Stormstriders. Like you're just dead at like 5.
I think it's very different because against Kano and Verdance, Disruption is really bad because they're like wizard combo. Obviously, it's very different, but basically, like you just want to go as fast as possible, and that's how you beat both of them for the most part. Obviously they're different, but then Acilio, the way you beat him is like you still often want the game to go faster, but you're able to interact with him a lot more and disrupt him in a much more meaningful way. Whereas like Verdance, it's like I'm not trying to disrupt you. Like I'm just gonna die to Striders once I get below 10, so I have to just get the game over with. With Acilio, I think it's like a little bit different. If you're playing like an assassin that can manage the stuff that they have going on, you can play a little bit differently. I agree. I mean, he is still a wizard, but I think in terms of how decks are able to like look at the format, comparing like H-pot combo versus like setting up a Gone in a Flash pitch deck is like very different sorts of like cutting people out of the game. Right? Like Guardians a lot
Yeah,
more able to play into Acilio than something like Verdance.
it makes sense.
Cool. Anything else on that before we start talking about some of the new cards?
Now let's get it.
Cool. So what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about things that we think are winners from the new set so far that we've seen. That can be individual cards. It can be a whole class. I am going to start us off. I'm going to start off with Acilio. So first of all, I think Acilio is probably the best deck in the game currently, right now. Obviously, it's hard to play, but it looks and does some things that are more broken than I think almost any other deck does. Can beat Fatigue, can basically beat every deck in the game. It's very strong. They also got new cards that are a pretty big upgrade or pretty good help, and they have some potential to kind of change how they're built if they end up wanting to do that. I'm less high on those cards, but I think there are a couple of cards here that are just absolutely massive improvements. The main card, I think, is Glyph Power Spell. This is the 2-cost red, deal 4 arcane damage to any target if you control a card with Sigil in its name. Instead, deal 6 arcane damage, and it blocks 3. This is just the Burn Bear replacement. So one of the issues if you don't play a lot of Acilio is that Burn Bear is really awkward to play, but it's also incredibly powerful. When everything works out properly and you can go like lightning, I'm going to shoot you for like 10 with this thing. It is absolutely insane. But since it doesn't pitch, you're basically forced to either block with it, set it, or cast it. And it being a 3-cost is also an issue. So your arsenal is pretty much like taken up quite often by Gone in a Flash. And if you set the Burn Bear waiting for something else, you might end up running into an issue where you're trying to also set a Gone in the Flash like the next turn. You can't necessarily cast it. It makes a lot of awkward turns. And you also can't pitch it when you're not able to play the Burn Bear for like second cycle when you're trying to actually get your damage count later in the game to be higher. If your opponent is currently blocking you out or on the defensive side, then holding the card can be a problem. This legitimately fixes every single one of those problems. 1, it costs 2. It still hits for 6 because you're going to have a Sigil in play, and it's red, so you can pitch it. And pitching it is actually rather important. So you can pitch it for your 1 cost to save power into your deck for the longer games. Also, if your hand is awkward, you're not forced to automatically set it. I think this is a major improvement, and it's like an improvement in like consistency. So you get to run one of the more powerful cards that not every Acilio has been running because it's kind of hard to run Burn Bear. But you can, as you've seen, the ones that are doing well are running Burn Bear and getting value out of it. But now everyone can run it, and it fixes a lot of those failure points. I think if they just got this card, I would think it's a massive improvement for Acilio. I think this card's sick for how the deck works.
Three additional reasons to expand on why it costs 2 is super lit. Is you can play it with Eclectic Magnetism. So like you can play that, pitch 1, and then cast it as an instant using the Eclectic effect. Number 2, the deck actually plays like a lot of yellows, right? I think most lists have like 12-ish yellows. So having a yellow work like a blue for casting your finisher is great. And then the third thing is having a 2-cost spell, like you talked about Burn Bear costing 3 being so bad, given that like you want to cast it. I think also there's a world where into matchups that you want to just greed for getting lots of real damage on a turn cycle, keeping Channel Lightning Valley around, I think, is relevant. So being able to like pitch 2 reds into this to keep the channel around for like a third turn, I think actually seems like a reasonable play. So yeah, it costing 2, I think, is like extremely good to say the least.
Yeah, much easier to sometimes overpitch for that than like 2 reds or something.
Yeah, you're not pitching 3 reds to play Burn Bear like it's a meme.
Yeah. Which I have 100% seen like Acilios have to do.
Mm. Yeah, it doesn't pitch, like you have no choice.
And if that wasn't it, they also got the Astrovolt Elemental, which is a 0 cost. Comes in all of the colors, but it says when this attacks, or it comes in red only. Sorry. When this attacks, you may discard an instant. If you do, draw a card and create an embodiment of a lightning token, which is, this isn't like it's like a pseudo starter because it's a starter when you already have an embodiment as a great card. It filters for you. It creates an embodiment moving forward. It lets you have like essentially like a 1 card play where you're trying to set a card. You have a junk card, play this, pitch, get a card for your arsenal, also get an embodiment, which is pretty sick. And it blocks for 3.
It's just like 3 block Blast to Oblivion. I read like the times where you're
How
blasting.
is it like that at all? It's not even close to that.
No. Like the one of the most common uses for blast is to bounce your conductivities, and this is just like a very similar effect. I feel like it's just like
okay. So when
let's
look at the cards, right? I have conductivity. I have blast. I have an instant.
No. Let me continue. It's not like a power play in the same sense, but it's just another card that lets you smooth out your turns when you start with an embodiment. And it's just like an extra kind of flexible, just like Cody was saying, consistency card. Like it's not adding to the decks.
This card is like Codex Uploader. Like,
yeah,
it's a good card. Sure, it's fine. Maybe you include it in your deck, but I don't think it's like that crazy at all. I feel like people are overhyping how good it is. It's like maybe a 1 of 2 of at most.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that it does is it's just very powerful for Acilio to be able to end on embodiments. And he doesn't have very many ways to do that right now. And this is just like a on or close to on rate way to do so. And so in a lot of matchups where like not even just in a lot of matchups, just in every matchup, I think just having a few more embodiments is beneficial. I agree it's probably not like a 3 of auto include in all the matchups, but I think for a deck like Acilio, just any sort of like small consistency piece that fixes a kind of brick and is a very minimal cost.
I just don't even think this is consistency that fixes bricks. To me, the bricks in Acilio is like I draw blast, gone, 2 spells. Like I draw just a bunch of cards and don't do anything.
Well, so I think it's not that it fixes it on those turns. It's that it preemptively. I think just the ability to chain embodiments back to back over turns is what makes this card powerful, and this, which is a way to increase the consistency of the deck. Like when I play a deck, like I agree, the hands that are like annoying are when you draw like too many attacks and or spells. But like in this case, it's if you draw too many attacks, this is a consistent piece, even though you have to play it the turn before.
Another thing too, I was just watching before we recorded this. Caleb put out the like weekly on Flesh and Blood thing. He talks about this card, and he brought up the good point of like Acilio is a deck of having Gone in a Flash and Arsenal. So if I'm playing this card, discard, draw. If I don't draw an instant, I'm fat. Like, what am I doing? I just drew like a useless card. I IP'd myself. Like, sure, I made an embodiment, but what am I doing?
You blocked for 3 with it in that scenario. I don't understand.
But it's Acilio. Like sometimes you take the tempo and then like you want to keep pushing your advantage. No, like you mind warp your opponent. They don't have a turn. You want to like push your advantage. If that card's another instant, then it lets you like do more on that same turn cycle.
I actually think the reverse is kind of true. I feel like that's like like the way that Acilio plays feels that way. But I think in practice, most of the time, it's actually very difficult for your opponent to use their whole hand on defense. And also, basically, almost every deck strategy in Acilio is something along the lines of play a really fast game because like I can only disrupt you for so many turns. So I actually think in practice, most decks most decks are almost always attacking into Acilio because it's also a deck that normally, like I said, doesn't want to block. So it's kind of like a paradoxical a little bit, but I think because the deck doesn't want to block, it gets attacked more often, and so it is able to use its cards on defense more often.
Okay.
I'd make a couple other points about this card. It's probably in the same spot that Fry is in some of the decks. It's like around that hold. Also depends on how many blasts that you're currently running. But it blocks for 3. and it's 0 cost. It's kind of a big deal for like somersault turns and things like that as well, which they can struggle with. And a lot of the turns where they actually get value out of somersault this way is incredibly valuable. Those are some of their best turns. It's also just great as like when you're doing your filter turns, you're just starting. A lot of times you start with an embodiment in play, and you don't always even use it depending on what go again you have in your hand. But this allows you to use your embodiment, filter as either a second time, or instead of your filter, you just draw a card and get another embodiment, get to play something else. I think this could end up being like a 2 of or something in the deck. This is definitely something they're going to play around with and see how it comes out. But it being 3 block is pretty big deal.
So
0 cost, 3 block, 3.
The slot you trim is just fry, so you're like just having your attacks be the same.
Yeah, it might be in the fry slot. I've also seen Entwine be in that spot as well, as like a go again source. It just depends how much embodiment of lightning tokens they have consistently.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's definitely a cool card. Like drawing more cards is always good.
Yeah, and it might end up being like lets them turbo to their good cards faster. Things that let you go faster while also presenting damage, while also being lightning is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, that's true.
And blocking is a pretty big deal for the deck. The other thing I'll talk about, there are other cards that they might end up playing, but that would require them to like be okay with spending 1 resource. But I think Cloud Cover could potentially make the deck, as it is when it's in red, it prevents the next 3 damage, but it's a lightning and an instant. So if you need it to block, it blocks. If you just have it on your hand, you can either pitch it or use it as just a lightning charge. So it has some flexibility there.
It's like low voltage, you know?
Yeah.
Lightning instant, ample one, kind of.
Yeah. It's also decent on defense when you're trying to spike someone as well, which is not bad when you're in the end game. It has a lot of play there. It's like a lightning sigil, basically. Sigil Solace.
It's unfortunate it doesn't float the damage, right? It's like only from a single source. Yeah. I think if it floated the damage, it would be like OP staple include, but yeah, maybe another like 1 to 2 off slot tech cards.
Yeah, it might end up being a card that they pull in when they need to block more. I could see this being good into like the Mario match, for instance. It could potentially have some value there.
I also wanted to talk about Strike Twice, which is the card it's the Lightning Wizard action, 1 cost, 3 block. It says deal 3 arcane damage to any target. If you've dealt arcane damage to an opposing hero this turn, you can play this as though it were an instant. I think this card initially reads pretty poorly. Like Isilio is not really a deck that wants to play like Snapback. It's 1 cost. It can be kind of awkward, but I think there are some important use cases for this card. First of all, into all of the like aggressive faster matchups, this card can be really powerful on the kill turn, on your opponent's turn. This can increase your range a lot compared to basically anything else. This basically lets you like Storm Striders in something on your opponent's turn. You can hit them with a shock, and then you can play this and activate Volzar and potentially do like 5 to 7 damage on your opponent's turn, which is a lot more than Isilio had access to previously. And so I think into some of those faster matchups, those like extra couple points of damage could be quite relevant. I don't know if it's enough to warrant including in the deck, but that amount of value at that point in the game is very unique. And then also you get to do the same thing into fatigue decks. I don't know how often you're actually able to like take your opponent's whole hand, but this is like kind of a nice way to, if you draw a bunch of instants in the early game, you can just like get in a shock and then play this on your opponent's turn and potentially get a lot of chip damage through. So this card I think is a little bit more niche, but I do think this does something that Isilio wasn't able to do previously. And so it could be strong. There's also interesting that this can hit allies. It's very weird, the situations where it can come up, but there are spots where you can potentially like shock your opponent and then use this to kill a different ally. It's pretty niche, but I'm sure there are situations where your opponent goes like Sawbones or like Leyline Sawbones, tap out, and then you can shock them. They can't block it, and then you can play this to kill it. So it might be relevant in that matchup.
There's also
You
like
think-
a world where on your turn it is, assuming you do nothing else, like a 1-for-4 spell.
Yeah, it is also reasonable. Yeah, like it's not horrible rate, and if you're playing any other arcane, yeah, it's basically just like 1-for-4 that doesn't take your action point. It's perfectly reasonable, but it
I
is
think
a
one
little
of,
bit hard to line up consistently on offense.
yeah, I think one of the stronger play lines to do on offense with this is to use Sigil of Aether. A lot of times, if like a Cilio just has a hand of random
Yeah,
cards,
yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
know if you want to stop the Sigil ping at the start, and then now you just have like an instant. This doesn't trigger the gun and a flash to bounce back, right? Because it's not actually an instant.
I believe that's correct.
That would be too lit. I didn't read the
That would-
release notes to know if that's true or not, but I just like assume intuitively on Flesh and Blood knowledge it doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, regardless, still definitely an interesting card to extend the reach. The use case you were talking about with Gravy too is like it could potentially kill a chum if you like block Tat, bounce back your Sigil of Aether, ping them, play like an amp, like a Sigil at instant speed, and then kill the chum.
That's very true.
I feel like even if none of these other cards see play, though, the fact that they got Glyph Power Spell is just
Yeah.
a massive
enough.
improvement for the deck. Like,
Agree.
Yeah, there's also just he's one of the heroes that I think got more like random sideboard cards than most other people as well. Like the anti-gravy spell is pretty good. I think the new wizard arms, people are just like overlooking them, but the one that's like when this leaves the arena after you block with it, you destroy an aura. Like that card's crazy. Like that card, that's a crazy card. It's Gloves of Erasure. Like I don't know how relevant it will be for Acilio, but there are definitely some matchups where I could see that being incredibly
It destroys
powerful.
aura token, you know that, right?
Yeah.
it's or a token.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so much worse than I thought it was.
It's so much worse, bro. You don't just kill their tree, man.
That's
Or
what I was
CMH or
thinking.
whatever.
It still seems, yeah, no, it's
It kills a ponder.
I'm
They
not
can like codex and like boom, I'll kill your
Yeah.
ponder. I'm lit.
you guys don't let me have any fun.
Wait, no, that could be lit. I'm serious. I just gave you the use
No,
case.
yeah, it's better than Stonewall. I should just read cards.
I mean, it is pretty funny though that like Glyph destruction nodes, there could be like a world where you just kill like 3 allies with this. Okay.
Oh yeah, like you can do some crazy stuff with destruction nodes.
Cool. That's my piece on Acilio. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Lucas goes next.
Yeah, I'll talk about one of Cody and my heroes that we enjoy. Talk a little bit about some Vincent. Vincent got actually quite a few new cards, I think, from the set. The first one we've known about for a while, the new offhand Grimoire of Felling Song. It's just the Rune Blade offhand that you pay 1, destroy it as an instant to create a rune chant. Fixes a lot of her consistency problems, makes it so where she can basically rune gate 2 on demand if she needs to, and also can be used on some power spike turns. She also got I don't know how good all these like commons and rares are going to be, but there are things that banish auras from the graveyard, which I don't think is super relevant right now, but there are some theoretical synergies there. The big other stuff that Vincent got is she got a new attack. I'm going to read this. It's called Deep Recesses of Existence. It is a blue RuneGate 4 attack. Blocks 3, it attacks for 6, so it's the same cost as Widespread Annihilation. And then it says, when the combat chain closes, you may banish this card face down. If you do, for each hero who has lost life this turn, banish a card from their graveyard. And so this does 2 things. First of all, if you are Vincent, which you are, and you use your hero ability to ping yourself, you can banish cards from your own graveyard. So in something like Silver Age, this can be really powerful with banishing RuneGate attacks. But in CC, you can also banish Cull, which means that in addition to everything else it does, this card is just 3 more copies of Widespread Annihilation, which is incredibly powerful. But then also there are plenty of matchups where banishing a card from your opponent's graveyard is very relevant. Gravy obviously is the thing that comes to mind, but there are plenty of these. This card seems really like a pretty big upgrade for Vincent. I don't know how easily it will fit in the deck, but having more disruption in your widespread base is incredibly powerful. And some of the turns that this card can enable are pretty ridiculous. Additionally, she got a new card called Embalm, which is a yellow shadow action. It blocks 3, it has blood debt, and it costs 0. It says you may play this from your banish zone. If you do, it gets go again. Put an attack action card with blood debt from your graveyard on the bottom of your deck, which creates an infinite loop with Unhallowed Rites. So Vincent, and I know we're rolling our eyes. I think
Well,
in
I'm
general,
rolling my eyes because
infinite
when you put those
loops.
cards up on the screen, you turn into the shadow hero yourself. Your whole your
Yeah,
screen
I
got
know,
so
I
dark
know,
you
I
became
know,
one with the shadow. That's why I
I
was
know.
eye rolling, but continue.
But yeah, it creates an infinite loop with Unhallowed Rites in the endgame. I don't know how easy it'll be in practice for Vincent to actually empty her banish zone so that she doesn't die to blood debt. But combined with Vincent's hero ability, if you have 2 Unhallowed Rites and an Embalm, you can just deal 1 unpreventable rune chant and 4 physical every turn indefinitely. So if people are trying to block you out, if people are trying to fatigue you, you can get, if you have enough time to play this over and over again, you need those last 2 or 3 points. You can basically get those for free. And also, it gives you an infinite outlet to activate Vincent. So if you have few enough cards in deck that you can actually perform this loop, you don't have to banish Runegate attacks. And so if you're able to manage it throughout the game, you might actually be able to create endgame situations where you can just kill people that are trying to fatigue you.
But
But with, go ahead.
in reality, this is a situation where you have to keep 3 cards, right? Because Unhallowed Rites cost 1.
Yeah, it's a 3 card loop in the end game. Or it's a 4 card loop in the end game because you need 2 Unhallowed, 1 Embalm, and then a card to pitch. But it can be anything. Like, it doesn't matter. I think really the strength of it is that you get rid of your deck, you play all your cards, and then you get to the end game where you have this. I am curious to see if Vincent will actually be able to get rid of all of the Runegate attacks and be able to achieve this loop, but it's something that she didn't have before. Embalm also has a few other interesting use cases. Just being a shadow action that you can put in your banish zone and play whenever you want leads to some interesting play lines. You can ping yourself reliably from banish zone in a way that your opponent can't interact with, which is powerful. And also just being a yellow 3 block is, I think, a reasonable enough floor for this card.
It's funny. I think I disagree that I think Fasting Carcass is better than Embalm. To be fair, just so people at home know, Fasting Carcass is red, yellow, and blue. It says the next red or yellow or blue card that you play this turn gets go again. It has go again itself. It is a shadow action. It blocks for 3. So the deck already plays some version of cards that give their attacks go again. Usually this is a 2 cost, or not a 2 cost, but a 2 block shadow card that says your next gate card from your banish basically has go again. You can play this in a very similar way, but it blocks for 3.
You can also play the blue, which is relevant.
Yeah, you can also play the blue, which is relevant. This is kind of a straight upgrade in some scenarios. It also doesn't have to be the next gate card, and it could be any red card that you play. So it could be like Read the Runes if you need to do that, or something along those lines. Or Call, yeah.
But yeah, I think Vincent with Embalm, with the Go Again card you mentioned, the Fasting Carcass, and also with the new attack and the new offhand, I think Vincent has a lot of new tools. I don't know how strong she actually is. I think she still probably has most of the same problems that she's had before. But she is kind of a hero that we see like almost every other format, like creep up, start doing well at some tournaments, and sort of threaten to be one of those top decks. I feel like she's clearly powerful enough to do so. And she does get at least marginally more consistent with this set. So I definitely keep my eye on Vincent, especially if we're moving into like a more aggressive, potentially a Cilio centered meta, because I feel like she's one of the heroes that can deal with him.
So
better.
I will say this: Vincent has some of the most powerful cards left in the game. Call, Succumb, those
all
are
the widespreads.
All the widespreads. Has a noticeably pretty decent matchup into Cilio due to the aforementioned cards. I also agree. I think the Deep Recesses of Existence, I think that card is great. it's not really what she needed, but it's great. Like the card is just great by itself. It does a lot of good, cool combos.
Exactly.
It's not really what she needed. She didn't need another blue 4 cost.
Would like a red 2 cost,
Would
please.
really like a red 2 cost. Like that would be that would be fantastic. But we did not get that. However, this card is very good. It does make deck building restrictively hard again because your blue slot, you've often been using that as where your non-attack actions go since you need so many different things. Finding room for, because you do want more Rune Gate in the deck so that you don't miss, but this is not a real Rune Gate card because you can't often cast it whenever you play it. So it's kind of hard to find the room for it.
This is probably best in the like combo OTK style version of Vincent, where not only because it lets you go wider on that turn with maybe if you're lower on blood debt count, you're only trying to play like the powerful blood debt cards. You can banish more like funeral moons and calls and stuff. And then this can be sort of like one of your best attacks to throw on the go turn because it's potentially disruption, but it can also get another Rune Gate attack if you need.
Yep. No, I agree with that. It'll probably find its way into sideboards. It'll be one of the pieces that come in and out, depending on what style the deck is into that matchup. But the offhand is insane. Like the offhand is crazy levels of making the deck better. So I'm excited to put some games of Vincent.
Yeah, just to like give you a reference for how good the offhand is. We have played Vexing Quillhand over Grasp in a lot of Vincent decks. And the card that we have to play Grimoire over is like Bloodied Oval.
Yeah.
And we were already happy playing Vexing Quillhand over Grasp of the Arknight. So we get something very similar in power level.
Can I ask 2 questions?
Mm-hmm.
Question 1. One is serious, one is funny. Okay. The serious one first. So now that you're adding like these potential like blues and yellows to the deck, do you ever start playing more like 1 cost? Because the new book also costs 1 to make a rune chant.
I think
do you start playing around envelopes again?
Yeah, I think you can. I think it would require a different list. But I do actually think one of the things that was sort of holding the version that cost more back was that a lot of the times your turns that you were waiting for are just like poopy attack into poopy attack. So having another like powerful Rune Gate attack, I think, can be relevant for those versions because they're normally able to make rune chants a little bit easier. My guess is we will probably see a few more ways to. My guess is that probably the way that the deck will actually be built is to play Tunic, and you'll probably play 1 or 2 cards that cost 1, and your plan will be throughout the game to use like 1 Tunic counter on a 1 cost card, and then your second Tunic counter, or maybe your first one on the book. And then maybe, because you have a few more yellows and blues, you can like use creepers on a turn where you draw a 1 cost or something like that. But
I've always felt as like a Vincent opponent that it's not actually that embarrassing if they throw like a Rune Gate attack with Go Again after playing some shadow attack, or not shadow attack, shadow action, so that I can't prevent. And then they just like pitch a blue to cast a whale from hand. Like it's still just a wounding bull, right? Yeah. That sets them up for next turn. It's like not that embarrassing, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not painful to play.
I think the biggest problem actually that normally ends up coming with that is actually just what you're saying. So I think you could be right, is just that the blues that you're playing are just normally not very good, or they're non-attacks. And then if you have a bunch of blue non-attacks and you have enough red non-attacks that you're trying to consistently be able to like go again into thing, it can be kind of tricky.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't think Embalm's going to see play. I think that card's trash. But
yeah, I think it's very niche. I think it does some things that
the card is good. It's just not what the meta needs or the deck needs. I know.
I think what Embalm actually is if Vincent ever becomes like a real deck, like a very good deck that gets targeted, I think it fixes some of the ways that people can target her. But
I would have played this card in Chain, back in the day. This card is great in Chain.
Of course.
But yeah, less good here.
Yeah.
Okay, my second question is like, I don't know why I've just noticed this. Maybe this is something that was obvious to everyone else, but why are some Flesh and Blood cards nouns and some are verbs? Like, why do we have like Fasting Carcass, Depths of Despair? Like, these are nouns. Then we just have like Embalm and Submerge as verbs.
Don't worry about it.
I wonder if anybody in the comments can enlighten me as to why like maybe cards are better if they're nouns and worse if they're verbs, or vice versa. I don't know.
No, I'm from
Or like what the ratio is.
the 3-letter agency that is LSS, and I'm saying hush hush on the
Yeah, okay. I can't expose the secrets, man. All the verb cards are unplayable.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Noah, what do you got for your first card?
Okay. Well, first one is RIP that you can't play Chorus of Rotwood in Real Florian, because that would have been too lit. Just being able to do Grasp of the Arknight and the Chorus of Rotwood, like
What
get
is
online.
Chorus of Rotwood?
Chorus of Rotwood is
Maybe
1 cost Decompose, Earth Runeblade action. Action meaning there was no attack in what I just said. You may banish 2 Earths in an action, make an embodiment of Earth and 3 rune chance. Meaning if Florian's online, which means you can, resolve this, he's now online, then you make 2 embodiments, 4 rune chance. You're playing a 1 for 6 with Grasp, makes 2 more rune chance as well. Like you're playing a 2 card 8 that's 6 of it is arcane, 2 of it is life gain. Like it's absolutely unreal. So a little bit unfortunate we never got to play that in Real Florian.
Or fortunate that we don't have to deal with that in Florian.
That's also true.
The card is very good.
Yeah, the thing I wanted to talk about was all flavors of Arachne. Most likely in CC, this ends up being Huntsman, but this is the Graven equipment, in addition to Excessive Blood Loss, the new card revealed by Shoma Lobotomy. And then we still have one more card that's presumably an Assassin Majestic. So just playing around with these cards in Sage already, I feel like resolving a Graven equipment to come back just feels like
Can you tell me what that card does?
I was about to, man.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So Graven equipment, all of them have the same effect. This is why I'm referring to it as a Graven equipment. You could play it in any slot: head, chest, arms, legs. Technically, you could play an offhand, but I don't think that one's as good. All of them have the effect of, if it's in the graveyard at the start of your turn, you may destroy 2 silver if you do equip it from the graveyard. And when it's equipped from the graveyard, it comes back as a Blade Break 2 piece. But when it starts the game as a Blade Break 1. So effectively what this allows you to do is block some breakpoint early, create silver, rebuy an equipment that's a Blade Break 2. You're not caring about any other benefit of the card. Just basically it translates each silver into 1 life now. Whereas if we thought about the equipment beforehand that you could rebuy with silver, they were always like 0.5 life per silver, given that you 2 silver gave you back the one battle worn. And in every assassin, the effects ranged in their power level of how good they were. But I feel like a lot of times, if you were stocked up on silver, you just kind of broke your equipment to put them in the graveyard and get them back so you could reuse the block value. So having access to these now, where you're getting back 2 block value instead of 1 is 100% more efficient if you're not actually caring about the effect. And when you combine that with something like Excessive Blood Loss, this is a 1 cost, comes in all colors, 1 for 5, 4, 3, contracted to banish red cards, and on hit, banish top card of their deck if it's red repeated again. So this being able to solve a problem, now that Syndra has kind of gone back up in popularity, I always felt that like Huntsman Syndra was a little bit dependent on how early you could kickstart your train of getting rid of their cards and doing that deck damage. So this card being a way to accelerate that, again, like 100% increase. I'm banishing now 2 cards with my one attack and effectively healing 2 life. If you think about a dagger swing into Excessive Blood Loss, let's say like ideal situation, right? You're playing Graven Call and it's online swinging for 2. You swing Graven Call for 2. You swing Excessive Blood Loss. You're playing in Syndra. They're like, does this banish from my hand or arsenal? No. Okay, I sleep. It hits. Banish top 2. Now I've effectively gained 2 life. It's like I played a 2 card 9. So I think that this card definitely makes the contract concept of Assassin very strong. Again, I don't know if this is just a Huntsman only card or if you could try splashing it in other archetypes. I didn't find much success with splashing it in Sage, TBH, just because a card costing 1 is significantly worse when you don't have Tunic in the format and you're trying to play a long game. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for the concept of these like Graven equipment and actually making Sillier have like tangible value. A silver's a life.
Yeah, I think Mario might be able to splash the 1 for 5. Yeah. And if it is a meta where like Syndra is very popular, 1 for 5 that basically like refreshes your black tech on hit is, I think, potentially something worth looking at, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Also, yeah, if you're not playing a Graven equipment, it is still just a resolving excessive blood loss is a full refresh on any of the buybackable equipment.
Mhm.
And then yeah, lobotomy existing is the other one. This one is more for CC implication. So I think the idea of a stealth attack
What does this
being
card do?
oh yeah, I got to read it again. I'm reading it in my head, I promise. I'm just not using my mouth to read it. Thank you. 0 cost. When it attacks, you may equip an Orbitoclast from your inventory. That's the dagger, 2 cost piercing. If it hits the next non-attack action, they block with blocks for 1 less.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe the next time they block with non-attack actions, they block for 1 less, right? If I'm sharking,
Spider's
right?
Bite for non-attacks.
Yeah. Spider's Bite for non-attacks. Thank you. When it hits, if you control said Orbitoclast, the opponent loses all hero card abilities during their next action phase. So, strength of this card is that there's no like setup. All you have to do is have an open slot. You get the Orbitoclast right from your inventory. It just costs a slot in your deck. Presumably, Pen 142. Theory crafting will have the same effect, maybe for Nerf Scalpel or Scale Peeler or something like this. And just having these extremely high impact stealth cards, I think is pretty strong for Slip Through the Cracks, where that was part of the strength of Bonds, is that you present on Chainlink 1 with multiple cards back a really high impact effect that will mess your opponent up a lot if it resolves, so they have to either play a bad turn or overblock this card.
I don't know if we'll actually get another one, because I think the reason they printed, I don't know what the connection is, but Slippy's signature weapon is Orbitoclast. If you did not know that.
No, I don't know anything about lore.
Yeah. Well, like in the like when Slippy LLs, Orbitoclast will also LL. So this is like a Slippy card. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe we won't get another one.
Maybe it's just
also art is lit, dude. Look at it, that guy just staring at you. It's cool. But yeah, I think these assassin cards are good in the sense of they didn't make them bad. I don't know. LSS is pretty good at like making cards bad. Like they just shave a point here or just like make some condition on there. But these are just like they don't have those weird conditions or anything bad. Like they're just good cards.
I mean, they also don't say your opponent loses like infinite health and they can't play around this. Like half of the other assassin
worse
cards.
Than Bonds.
Yeah. But
is
good.
It's
not like Detox, where you're just like, we don't need another card like that. Normally when they give us a Majestic, it's like Codex.
This doesn't have any like good card. Like it's all like it's just the card's not terribly underrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now tell me, is Tome of Pandemonium good?
No.
Why?
Okay. I think so because I'm a person. I always love watching people do like Slippy deck techs and they talk about the card Infiltrate. That's the 0 for 3.
I'm one of my favorite cards in the game.
I'm going to explain what cards are.
Yep.
1 second. I'm explaining what cards are because y'all are going to shark me. I'm not telling people what cards do. Infiltrate, 0 for 3 stealth from Outsiders. It's a majestic rarity. It's a stealth. It says when it hits a hero, banish the top card of their deck. You may play it until the end of your next turn.
No.
So key note about
this card blocks for.
Yeah, you don't block with it. It's too lit to cast. I've never actually read the value over here. I only play it. But yeah, Infiltrate is lit because you can hit their sink below and then they're fools because now you can just sink below them on their turn. Whereas you play this card Tome of Pandemonium, which I will also read because I'm a scholar and I can read for sure. Here we go. Tome of Pandemonium. 1 cost. This one I did read the block value because it's only a 2 and that's very sad. Banish the top card of each hero's deck. You may play them this turn. Chaos action. Go again. So being able to only play them this turn significantly hampers the value of this card in that it used to be the case you cast Infiltrate into... I'm just going to keep comparing it to that card because it's the closest thing we have. You cast Infiltrate into like Florian. You hit Autumn's Touch. Blue. You're like, oh, okay. Like it's not the best, but next turn I know I can just have a blue and my blue is a 1 card 5. It's not that bad, right? Whereas with this Tome of Pandemonium card, if I hit a card that I can't immediately have the resources to cast because my opponent is silly and they play a deck that has cards that cost money or something, then I lose a lot of value out of this card. I effectively just played a card paid 1 mana to get a random card off the top of my own deck. So I personally like this card as something I would play in a situation where I know my opponent's deck is something that like 80% plus of their cards are castable off of this. Their whole deck costs 2 mana or less. I think it's very reasonable to include this card in your deck, especially if your deck is extremely focused on having go again, to where you can play your card into theirs.
I think exactly what you said. I think it is playable in like I think it is playable in like the mirror and other Arachnes. I think maybe it is playable in like a few other matchups, but it 1 cost 2 block, not blue.
Okay, tell me not. Imagine you're playing into KO, right? You play this card, you pitch a blue, you hit like a Bare Fangs. It's too lit. You play your own card, boom, 6 after.
What am I doing with my card? Am I pumping the dagger that I can pay for?
Yeah.
Why is that?
You're Lucas. You have tunic every turn.
Oh, okay. No, you're actually right. This is my card.
It's
This
the
is
first
my card.
information. Yeah.
Yeah, I
When
should
you draw
play
this
this
card,
card.
you have tunic, so
Yeah,
it's all.
I'll hit Bare Fangs and like you'll already be marked, and so the thing will have go again, and I'll have tunic, and it'll be lit. Okay, no, I'm
Exactly,
completely
yeah,
on board. Yeah, no, I don't think this card's good. It's a lot. It's a lot to put in your deck. First of all, it is I think similar power level to just like Codex of Inertia, but it doesn't cost 1. And you don't have to hit a good card off your opponent's deck, and it doesn't suck. I don't know. For like in real card evaluation terms, I think the fact that it costs 1 and requires hitting something off of your opponent's deck in Mario in particular means that it is basically only playable in matchups where your opponent's deck is, just like Noah was saying, like 80+% cards that cost, I think you need them to be basically 0. Maybe some of them can cost 1. Or and also can be played by you and also probably have go again. So like the mirror, maybe
Syndra,
Slippy.
Man. Tell me not. You're playing this into Syndra. It's lit.
Or Syndra was the one I meant to say second.
Yeah.
I think maybe Syndra, but even then it's like it's kind of awkward because a lot of the cards that you can hit off the top in that matchup are bad. Because the other thing is they have D-reacts that are whiffs. You also play defense reactions that are whiffs. You also play blues that are whiffs.
Oh, dude, this card's so bad. But I
know. I read it and I was like, this card's sweet, but like the more I think about it, it's so bad.
Also, the way that the artwork looks, it looks like there's a Nike swoosh under the M, and that gets me every time. Makes me really want to play
it. No, I think this card probably will see play, because it's 1 resource, draw 2 cards. That's a powerful effect. But I think it's gonna be pretty niche, and I think it's gonna be like mostly for chaos mirrors, because I think, especially with the way the Mario deck is built right now, it's so like A plus B plus C. Like a random card off my deck is already like kind of hard to resolve, much less playing your shit.
Yeah, you're right.
What about Concoct Disorder?
Concoct Disorder. This is a line.
Okay.
No,
I'm a professional reader. Let me read. Concoct Disorder. It's Rainbow Chaos Action Attack. Attacks for 4, 3, and 2 at the different colors. Blocks for 3. This one I recognize the block value because I definitely won't be attacking with this every time. When this attacks, each hero puts the top card of their deck face down into their arsenal. If 2 or more cards, I don't know how there'd be more, but if 2 or more cards are put into arsenals this way, this gets go again. So
UPF is the.
Go ahead.
UPF is.
I was UPF. Yeah, sure. So yeah, first thing about this is that it does not get go again if 2 or more cards are not put in arsenals. So if your opponent just has an arsenal chilling and you draw this card, you're playing a 1 cost attack for 4, but you still do get a card yourself. So I think this card will function extremely differently based on the context of the game. But if you think about it from that context, like it's arguably going to be better if you're not triggering the go again mode, right? Because then you're playing a 1 for 4 that just draws you a card. And because it draws on attack, there's no real window if your opponent has like a defense reaction for them to get it out. It would have to be like Sigil of Solace or something. So I think you kind of want to play this card in situations where your opponent already does have an arsenal, and you're just playing this as a chain ender. You get a random card off the top, kind of like a 1-for-4 ponder. That would be a good card. I would play that card.
I actually love this card's design, first of all.
Yeah.
I think this is exactly what Chaos should be. I think it's very similar to Mario rolls, where like this card is weird, but it's like it's very fundamentally different cards, like you were saying, in the different contexts, but they're all
Yeah.
like pretty interesting. Like if nobody has an arsenal, this is basically like the tome, but it's just like 1-for-4 go again, do the thing. Right? Where it's just like, yeah, it's free, we both get a card, but I'm playing a 1-for-4 go again. Obviously your opponent gets the card. In this case, I meant to say it's like Inertia Codex.
It's like Inertia Codex, but they don't discard, you know?
Yeah. And so it's in this spot where like it's on rate, it's schisming your opponent basically, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, it can also be played as like a 1-for-4 snatch. That is kind of like guaranteed to hit, which is interesting. I think the most interesting thing about this card for actual playability is that the blue is like a powerful effect that it's a card where the actual stats of the card are not the most relevant thing for its power level. Where like the powerful effect is I think mostly that you can get a free arsenal, but I also think there is in some matchups some power in breaking your opponent's arsenal. Like into decks that are trying to block you out in Mario in particular. It's almost better than an inertia token sometimes if you are playing against, say, Fatigue Pleiades, and you put like a Thunderquake in their arsenal, and then you just attack them every turn, and they have to, it becomes very difficult for them to ever be able to arsenal a defense reaction. So I think the blue could maybe see play as like, it's basically snatch, you can target allies, it blocks 3. I think in large part, though, this card is not actually very good.
Wait, that was your conclusion, that it suck after all that?
Well, you're missing
I think
you're missing the
problem
context.
is just that it's super narrow in red. I think the blue might see play. I think the red is entirely too.
Bro, you're forgetting about
I
Gravy
disagree.
Boner, man.
I disagree 100%.
You gonna talk about Gravy Boner?
I mean, sure, but the other thing is this. The effect is great on this card, but it is a chaos only card that doesn't have stealth and doesn't say assassin on it.
Yeah,
it's virtually unplayable
because
of those
like
reasons.
It's
not only in Mario, not in Slippy. So who cares about stealth in Slippy? Does it matter that much?
You're gonna put another. It matters for every reaction that you want to play.
Who cares about reactions, man?
That's already the struggle with the deck. The deck is like, you draw the reactions, you draw the one card, they have to go together. Now you're putting a card in your deck that none of your stuff works on.
Surely you would just like play snatch at that point.
I think the effect is great. I think if this said like chaos, assassin, action card, stealth, it would go in the deck 100% of the time.
You really don't think this is lit into Gravy Bones? Like, you have the chance of putting a man in their arsenal.
I think
you have go again 1-for-4, get a card. Like, is that not lit?
So I think the problem with the red is exactly what Cody said. Where like it's a card that goes in your deck, and it's a red 1 cost. So at least to some degree, you're probably expecting to play it most of the time when you draw it, or a lot of the time when you draw it. And it's just like a card that, I don't know, it feels hard in practice to play. The other thing is all of these, like, I mean, we've talked about a couple of these now, but these like put the top card of your deck into your arsenal effects are just like not always draw a card. Like they are all like asterisk. Because like sometimes you just put like a blue stealth card in your arsenal. Right? In Slippy, I think you have less of a risk of this for sure, but I don't know. I think this card, exactly what Cody said. Like, I think it's too hard to make it work. I think the effect is interesting, and the effect would probably be worth it if it was clean to play, but you have to jump through hoops to put this card in your deck, and I have just no interest in doing it. It's not nearly powerful enough for me to justify playing a 1-for-4 generic attack action.
Oh, okay.
Without going.
I feel like my hot air balloon is spiraling down to the ground.
Oh, I love everything about the card. If it also had assassin in it, if it said chaos assassin attack, or had stealth on it, then I'm like, okay, it's in. I love the effect. The effect I think I can make profitable every time I want to play it. But the fact that all of my cards can't be played on it is like a problem.
I think the
When you're right, you're right.
What was that? What was that, Lucas?
Which one was? Oh, I said the two can both be true. It can be both a middling effect and also hard to put in your deck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well-
What am I gonna do when KO allows, man?
Do
Every other
you want
card
me to-
sucks. Every other deck I like has cards that are you say sucks.
I can make you feel better. I have a hero that I think is good. That gets good cards and is actually good.
Go ahead.
Don't say Tekla.
Verdance.
Oh, Verdance. Okay. Good.
Yeah, Verdance gets new
I
good
got scared
cards.
there for a second.
Yeah, it's gone.
Verdance gets a new Decompose card. Let me read it real quick if I can find it.
Wait, I'm the professional reader. I have it pulled
Yeah,
up.
go ahead.
Sowing Thorns. 0 cost. Earth Wizard action. 3 block. Effect. Gain 1 life. It's OP. You gotta nerf it. Oh wait, it does something else too. Hold up. There's more I didn't see. Decompose. You may banish 2 Earth cards and an action card from your graveyard. I'm glad that they're telling me what Decompose does. If you do, you may search your deck for an Earth aura with cost less than the life you've gained this turn. So by default, you search a 0 cost. Reveal it, then shuffle and put it on top of your deck.
Yeah. So it's basically Decompose, gain a life, tutor Ring of Roses. And then
Sigil of Earth, man. Come on.
I was gonna say, I'm sure there are other scenarios where you might tutor some other card, but it's tutor Ring of Roses. I think this card's actually really interesting. I kind of thought it sucked when I first read it. But I think the version of Verdance that played a little bit more mid-rangey and abused things like Ring of Roses and her hero ability and the fact that healing and arcane damage are really hard to interact with, suffered a really, really, really big loss with the Rootbound ban. And I think that strategy, especially in a world where we don't have other Earth decks and where other people are going to be trying to probably play a little bit more like, I'm going to play like a mid-range aggressive / disruptive deck to beat like a Cilio. I think this card helps a lot with that sort of Verdance game plan where you can get online a little bit more reliably, get your ring early a little bit more reliably, and then start having your sort of like pseudo like Fang turns where you're like, yeah, I'm just going to discard a fruits and then this arcane ping is worth either 3 value or you pitch it and it's worth 3 value. And you sort of try and have these good value exchanges back to back. And it's also a 3 block Earth card, which is always good.
It's a big deal. Yeah. It's also like a block 3 cards and just play this.
Yep.
And get a Decompose trigger.
Yeah, I think in terms of playing a slow game and leveraging your healing and your hero ability, which I do think is something that Verdance does that is powerful, this is very good for that. And then she also got another new card. You want to read Limbs of Lignum Vitae for us?
Oh, I would love to, man. Earth equipment.
You've done it.
Arms. Okay.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah, Earth equipment arms. Block 1. If there are 4 or more Earth cards in your banish zone, this gets +1. So the exact same as the Helm of Lignum Vitae, but now it's on your arms.
Yeah. This is a pretty big deal for Verdance. We were playing Stonewall Gauntlet before, and now we just get to play not that. This can be 2 block in the end game if you want it to be, but also just being able to proactively fill an Earth card in the early game is often like a huge deal. So, yeah. Verdance gets some new cards.
Do you think... This is something I was just thinking about for that new card that searches the aura. I already forgot the name.
Me too.
I'm so bad. Sowing Thorns. Yeah. For Sowing Thorns, you could, for matchups where you want to set up like a really big combo, you could play like 1 Harvest Season. I guess this shuffles your deck, so you'd have to have a really small deck at this point. But it's interesting to think about like alternative targets if you play like Fruits or Sigil of Solace or any other way to allow you to tutor for something bigger. Like you could search for Channel Millennium Tree or Harvest Season.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I think, unfortunately, because it just puts it on top of the deck, there's really very few things that are like super powerful to do with it. Being somebody that's like played Verdance, I think in general this really doesn't do anything outside of tutor ring. I'm sure that there are other things that are
maybe in the Prism you could like search the Tranquil Domain.
Yeah, like you can do stuff like that, but I think in general this just says tutor ring. Which, if you have not played against enough Verdants that is turned on with Ring of Roses in play in a version of the deck that actually plays cards that gain life, you should try it. It's not very fun.
I mean, it's fun if you're Verdants.
It's fun if you're the one playing Verdants because your health keeps going up and theirs keeps going down.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, tell me not. This might be a lit strategy. Hold up. If you say you're playing against a matchup that doesn't do arcane damage, you could play a Sigil of Sanctuary. That's the more reading. I'm a pro. It's a 0-cost Earth instant aura, Arcane Shelter 1. When it leaves the arena, make an embodiment of Earth. But if you play it in a matchup where they don't deal arcane, it's just a sigil that can stay on board the whole game. And then you could play you could play that new 2-for-6 card, and then boom, it's 2-for-6. You get 3 more burn bears.
I was actually thinking about the same thing. I think it's playable. I think it probably is not. I think just like she has Light Up the Leaves, she has Burn Bear. I think it's probably something that she doesn't need, but it is something that it is like more of those effects. Which if you, for example, like don't want to play Rampant Growth, that could be a powerful strategy. Just like try and abuse trees and arcane and stuff like that.
Yeah, notably that card also costing 2 is relevant in Verdant. Sometimes you just draw hands that literally don't allow you to play the game because of Burn Bear.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many heroes to get to. How many more should we do?
Oh, we're doing more talking? All right, let's get it.
Yeah.
Well, like there's a bunch of heroes worth talking about, right? Like we should talk about
I want to. Yeah. Let me go.
Valda.
I want to talk about Riptide. The good old.
Okay.
I mean, he's
I
got.
can't believe all these heroes that get real support. You talk about Riptide.
I talk about Riptide. He got 2 major things.
Oh my
One,
God.
he can use traps on Gravy allies. That's a major buff to the deck actually being a real deck. So that's in step 2. Verdants might go away. So that's a buff looking at Pro Tour. But mainly is I want to talk about, I like the new way that they've been making traps for him in this set. So, for example, they made a card called Frail Swing Line. It is a blue 0-cost. The card is a Ranger action trap, 3 block, so not a D-react. And it has basically like 2 different text boxes. It's just like create a frailty token under target hero's control, go again. And then it also when this defends an attack that has less attack than its base, its controller discards a card. So you don't just get stuck with traps in your hand. It's basically the solution for this card. It's also like a blue that's playable, that blocks 3. The effect is killer if you can ever pull it off, which you might be able to do because you make a lot of frailties. I think this card is sick. I think this design is just sick to be able to like play a trap or block with the trap.
Do you think Riptide's going to play like the cards that minus your opponent's power?
Frailty trap,
like the
frailty.
Well, no, that, but like the new D react that's like 0 for 0. The card defending this gets minus 3.
Yeah.
It's like
that'd be so funny. That'd be.
Oh no, it sucks though because you have to use it as a D react, and this is a stupid action.
Yeah. Stonewall Gauntlet would never work because it has to be greater than base 2. Like I don't think there's any equipment that would work to make this trigger.
Yeah.
Yep.
You kind of have to preempt them the frailty.
Yep. As the other example, they have like Quickening Sand, which makes a quicken token. All the same text. Also has like the when this defends an attack with go again, tap target hero or ally, which means this trap always goes off. Because like as if it's a deck that has go again, it's like another one of those like deals 1 damage, right?
There's yeah. They also just printed a new trap pump. They made Rune. I'm just seeing this right now, but they made Rune Snare. Does your next arrow attack this turn gets +3? Go again. It's just a 0-cost 2-block Ranger action. It's a trap, and it says when this defends and the attacking hero has played or created 2 or more auras this turn, you destroy an aura they control. Very interesting.
Right on time. Florian LLs.
Yeah.
Grasp CMH. Get rid of CMH. No.
Yeah.
Florian's gone.
I don't know. I think
Unlucky.
this way to do traps is really good, especially if it deals an extra damage. They still block for 3. They have relevant effects. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say the ones that have relevant effects are actually a pretty big buff. Like the pumps in particular, I think are the ones that are.
But the pumps block too.
Well, but it's
Yeah, but-
okay because they get their value back if they trigger because of Riptide.
I feel like Riptide has to be getting 4 out of his cards to actually win. Like,
Well, but that's literally what these. Well, I don't think it's that you have to get 4. I think for Riptide, his biggest problem is that you can't play pumps and traps and arrows.
Yep.
And
I think the biggest problem with Riptide is that you can't play. How do you play? Like, okay, yeah, sure, I draw these traps. I'm gonna cast a blue Sigil of Solace. Is that good? I'm gonna play blue Hit and Run.
no, the blue ones are bad.
But those are the ones Cody mentioned at the start.
The one of them is good because it discards a card if you meet a condition. The pumps I think are the relevant traps IMO. And then he also got some new actual traps that are reasonable, like the Tiger Trap, the one that says if they have 3 or more.
They control 3 attacks, man. Come on.
Yeah,
dude, imagine.
I'm not sold on
Imagine if
that
they
one.
made this when Zen had just come out with Art of War.
Imagine you're getting completely dumpstered and you're like, ha, I'll get you on Chain Link 3. Just you wait, man.
You're going to have to judge Judy.
Do you know what the text is on a trap triggering?
I believe it just says
happen.
whenever.
So here's how Flesh and Blood works. A trigger is usually starting with something like when.
Yeah.
So like when this defends is a trigger. When this attacks is a trigger. When you've hit 3 or more times is a trigger.
Is create a courage token under target hero's control a trigger?
Does it start with when? No.
But it creates a trigger. Does it not?
No.
It's not a trigger. It's just it goes on the stack, but that doesn't mean it's a trigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just an ability that you resolve.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you don't just get to like, oh, I'll play this card. All right, you're dead. That'll be lit.
I mean, that's not really that crazy of a buff. Like you're acting like this is insane, but it's like I'm going to play a whole card to give you to make a courage token.
It doesn't work that way though, but it would be
correct. I'm just saying. Like you said, I can't definitely not do this. It's like, well, that's not even that strong.
They wouldn't give Riptide good cards like that. Come on, this is Riptide.
Why not? They changed how the game worked so that his traps actually trigger on allies. It's a pretty big deal.
That's fair.
But
how do you win as Riptide? Like, yeah, sure, he gets these cards. You
well,
can't win.
KO goes away. Verdance goes away. You can now activate traps on Gravy. I don't know if that actually saves a matchup, to be fair. But there are matchups that Riptide's good into. Like his strategy is very good into. Like Warriors are a good example. Like any of the
Certain
every deck. That's every deck's like cop out. All right, yeah. My Tech Load deck
into
good into Warrior too, but
it's good into Fang. But like, how is it beating like Dawnblade Dory? Like they just like swing their sword for 3. You think he farms Dawnblade Dory?
Yeah.
That just like presents 70 cards?
Yes, you do.
Yes.
You farm the shit.
Okay, I believe you.
Yeah.
You're also forgetting about
Warrior
the
and
infinite
Assassin.
IMs that he has that are really, really strong. They keep printing for him.
I actually think Riptide could be playable in this meta if Gravy either becomes a playable matchup or goes down a lot. Because I think some of the decks that he's better into are actually, I think Assassin is like the biggest one. Like I think in a Mario, he should be quite strong. And then I think the Fatigue Riptide deck actually has the potential to be okay into Acilio.
Oh, you talk about Fatigue Riptide. Okay. I always assume you're playing like an actual.
You might have like a sideboard with some other stuff going on, but like you gotta.
There are so many different versions of Riptide.
There are. Yeah.
You can't have a sideboard like that. Like if you're playing Fatigue Riptide, you're playing like your whole deck every match. Like you don't have a transformation.
So you can have a sideboard. There are ways to build it where you can fatigue some matchups and not fatigue other matchups, but it is tricky.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I think he has enough. He's like the 2-for-6 disruption deck, so I think he might be able to compete with Acilio. I think 2-for-6 disruption is really, really good there. His traps should trigger most of the time. It's basically just if Acilio has like a 70-point turn, like you're just gonna lose. But,
yeah, unless you have like collapsing trap or something.
Of course.
Yeah. There
can be skilled.
There are outs from that. There is also the new Horizon build that is much more aggressive.
I would assume that card, Plan for the Worst, is probably pretty good into Acilio as well. Mm-hmm. Just like prevent them, like force them to combo that turn or else they lose it.
And the
card's always been so cool, man.
The Bolton Boots could end up seeing play as well as a battle worn block 1 that gives that you can use to give go again. For to have some block, because that is a problem for Riptide. They have no good armor. Other than just like pieces that block, they don't do other things as well. But I think I just personally really like this design for traps. I would like to see more of these type of traps going forward.
I agree.
It fixes at the root cause of traps, which is like CNC, not being able to play a reaction, or just getting stuck with infinite of them in your hand. So I think all those things
I
are
feel
great.
like we could talk about all of the like medium cards in this set forever. How many more heroes do we want to talk about? I feel like we should probably talk about some amount of like buy the mechs, maybe the one Kasai card we talk about.
Now we have to talk about Kasai. That's fine.
I'm gonna talk about Kasai. I'm gonna talk about Kasai because she got one card and it's simple and it's just very powerful. And I think it's one of the best cards in the set. Blunton. It's a yellow warrior block.
Oh yeah.
It blocks for 2. It says when this defends a weapon attack, the attacking hero discards a card. I think this card is like one of the best cards in the set, and I haven't seen too many people talk about it, but I think this card is ridiculous in some matchups.
As a person of playing KO, I hate Face Purgatory. Yeah. Now you just like, oh, I'm going to lead with my claw and then follow up with an attack, and they say you're actually not going to follow up with an attack.
Yeah,
you're going to discard a card.
It's also a yellow because of course.
Yeah, it's a yellow for Kasai. She's always down bad for yellows. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this card's stupid.
And also, when one of the top decks is Mario, this card's just incredible into Mario. Like it's gonna hit T-Tox. Like it basically eliminates the play line from Mario of end with a big Chelicera with one card in hand. If you block out, if you block, I'm gonna play the T-Tox. If you don't block, I'm gonna set the T-Tox and play it later. This just says like, fuck you, discard the T-Tox.
Yeah, it's actually outrageous how this card is a real card.
Same thing with Codex. Like, oh, I want to keep 2 cards to go like Clave into Codex CNC. Like, no.
No, I agree. It's really good in the Mario. It is also another one of those cards that just makes the Warrior Mirror like ridiculous. Like Warriors, no one beats a Warrior like another Warrior. Like they have all the cards to just make the mirror miserable.
Yeah, this card is also just like lit in a bunch of random matchups, I feel like. Especially being a yellow. I think if decks can include this pretty easily, it's going to be quite strong. Just like
it's also just like inertia trap too, right? Into Guardian, like they swing their hammer intending on setting D-React.
Yeah.
Get it out of here.
Yep. They just can't set whatever they want to set.
Oh wait, it's Flesh and Blood, a game of you're not allowed to ever Arsenal.
Yes.
There's another card. Perfect.
You're still not allowed to Arsenal.
They'll concoct Disorder as well. Another card incentivizes you to not Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. What a great game we play. You're supposed to say something else, man. Say something.
I want to talk about Teklo. I'll talk about Teklo, and then I'll let you guys do whatever. Sure. we can do whatever. I just want to talk about Teklo.
You were supposed to say I'm wrong, and then I was supposed to agree with you, but then you failed.
Teklo got so many cards. I'm gonna read the Evos, and then the rest of the cards I'm not gonna read because he got a bunch of them. I'm gonna read Evo Beta base legs. Or Noah, do you want to read for me?
Oh, thank you, man.
You got it.
So all the Evo Beta set are the same. There's just a head, arms, chest, legs. Evo Beta base legs cost 0, blue. Mechanologist action equipment Evo base legs. All those words matter. It blocks 1, so you really don't want to be doing that from your hand. However, if you have a base legs equipped, you may transform it into this, then equip this. I feel like that's too many words for no reason. Basically, you slap it on top. While it's on the board, it says Evo legs cost you 1 resource less to play. And now, this is basically the card of Band-Aids, because they printed these old cards that are super lit, but they put a 4 instead of a 3 for some reason in the top right. And that 4 is basically 6. So now we're basically changing it from 6 down to 3. So these basically say that Evo, arms, chest, legs, head, whatever, costs you 3 less to play, which is a substantial discount, I'll say.
Yeah, the other thing that these do is they give you playable Evos to transform to and from, because although I'm sure 0% of our listeners knew this, the 4-cost Evos from Bright Lights actually have text.
Yeah.
They say when this card is transformed into or from an Evo with a different name, you do something. The hat gives you an extra intellect, the chest gives you 3 resources, and the other 2 also do some bullshit. And so
You don't know, man? Come
I don't know,
on.
like the boots gives you action points in your deck where everything has to go again, and the arms recycles a dude that you'll never get to because you're already
Wait
there.
one sec. You resume in a second, but notably, I just learned today actually that the head only gives you the intellect until the end of this turn.
Yeah,
So
you
like,
can't do it on
if
your
you
opponent's
transform into
turn.
it on their turn,
It's
you
so
don't get
bad.
the intellect.
It's so bad. It's so
Okay,
bad.
go ahead.
But these do a substantial amount for the Tekla deck. First of all, just having 4 more blue Evos makes the ratios a lot smoother. Now you get to play 24 blue Evos. So your blues are actually good cards that you already want to put in your deck, which was a bit of a problem before. You didn't have as many of those. And then also, these Evos don't suck. All the other Evos before have sucked, which means that you have to either only play 12 Evos or you have to play some Evos that suck. And so now you just get to play boost cards and you can boost a lot freer and you can do like a little shadow cosplay where basically all of your boost cards are just, 0 for 4 go again or whatever it is, a third of the time, a little more than a third of the time, draw a card, right? Because 24 of the cards in your deck are Evos. And if you actually play all of the Ghost Protocol cards, which we're not going to read, but are more cards in the set that you can play from your Banish Zone if you boost them, about half of your deck is actually basically like, I draw an extra card if I boost this. So after playing it a little bit, I still think the Tekla deck has a lot of issues. I think there are matchups that are tricky. Um, but the deck is functional. I can confidently say like the deck works. It does incredibly powerful things, and you win games against real decks and real players. I don't know how good it is yet, but this is like the most fun I've had playing the game in a long time, and I think this does some of the more powerful things in the game, and I think people are overlooking it a little bit in terms of what it is. When you actually look at the value exchange of like play 2 boost cards, boost 2 evos, which is a very reasonable thing to do, you get some pretty ridiculous numbers in the same deck that gets to play War Machine and Terminator Tank and Steel Street Enforcement and stuff like that.
And the other thing too that's kind of nice is if you draw too many of these cards, Teklo is like convenient. I feel like most heroes in the game don't really have this anymore, but he has a pitch outlet where you can use this. His activated ability lets you play your next Evo as an instant and draw. So say you draw like double head in the chest, you're like, wow, my hand blocks like 6 total. You can just cycle 1, play 1 as an instant, draw a new card, and then keep the train going.
Yeah, it's super relevant. It comes up all the time. Yeah, I think Teklo's hero ability is one where like we all read it initially and we were like, wow, this is really powerful, and it kind of like didn't really come to fruition. But now that you're able to play a deck that both actually is able to banish them with consistency because you're allowed to play boost cards, and you also have enough blue evos that you actually like want to cast, like it actually, I do think you feel the power of the hero ability when you're playing the deck, because you just, for so much of the game, you're just playing with like 6 or 7 cards with a bunch of armor block, and some of the cards in your deck are just ridiculous, like Terminator Tank and War Machine.
Yeah, I think you're also like things that you might not realize if you haven't played against a tackle Vossen in a while is them getting their gun on board online fast is a pretty
Yeah.
big deal. And this helps do that. Just getting your tanks online faster is like a massive deal because once the tanks are online, you're playing a whole different game now. Like it is like very scary. You're now on a timer, like on the other side. Also, getting to actually use your big Evo's effects in the middle of the game, like before you transform,
So good.
is just amazing.
It's actually really. I think people underestimate a little bit, like because these are free a lot of the time. So just playing like an Evo head from your Banish Zone is like you have 1 blue and you convert it to an extra intellect, which basically replaces itself, and then you get like 5 to 6 extra block. And
Yep.
also, as you're doing this, you're getting broken cards online, like your War Machines and stuff. It is a really powerful deck. I again, I don't know that it is actually robust enough to survive a dynamic metagame. But if you haven't played any Teklo, you should. Like it's so much fun.
Yep. I have all my Teklo cards. It is a deck
Yep,
that
I
I
bought
will
'em all.
build and play. I'm very excited about. But to be fair, you don't want this deck to be good. You want this deck to be playable, and then
Oh,
maybe
agreed.
like
Oh, I
maybe
don't even
sometimes good into a meta. But you do not want this deck to be good. It is abysmal if it is like one of the best decks in the game.
Yeah, it's I've heard the chain comparison, and I think
Yeah.
it is not entirely unfounded.
So,
Even though
But-
it is not in the same ballpark.
but this was I agree. These were well designed cards.
And he also, we didn't mention them because honestly, every single mech card in the set that doesn't say Hyperdriver is like a good card in this deck. So I would
Dan
recommend
would be
you go
so
read them.
mad that you mentioned that.
Yeah, but like there are, I mean, actually the Hyperdriver cards are actually really good in mechs too, but we're not going to talk about that because we don't do that here.
Noah, you got anything that you want to talk about for in a hole?
I feel like it'd be better if we wait until later. Maybe after this weekend, we can talk about the additional cards because we're still missing a decent amount of Majestics that may tie stuff together for CC. There's some Gravy Bones cards. I'm mad about it. Whatever. His deck got a little bit better.
Really?
Bolton got a bunch of cards. It's very curious, the Bolton cards in specific, how they are one of the few ways that exist in the game of just like getting free soul. I feel like beforehand you usually had to spend a card on soul, whereas now it's more ways of like I'm gonna do some niche beneficial effect and then just, oh yeah, I'll go into soul next turn for free. Like people have unironically put soul food in their decks before because they were so desperate. Now it's like you have a 3-block soul food that also does something else. So I think that's a nice buff for him, but I still don't understand how Bolton can ever actually be playable in the current state of Flesh and Blood.
I'll say the same thing I said before we started getting spoilers. I think Hatchet's Bolton is a real deck that wins games, but I think it is still a warrior.
Yep.
So I think it's better than some of the other warriors, especially after this set. I do actually think it gets quite a few upgrades, but still a warrior, man. What are we doing?
Okay, I want to mention one card and then we can move on unless you guys end up bringing up something else. I want to talk about Cheating Scoundrel. 0 cost, red. This card's sick. It says the next attack action card that you play this turn gets +3 and wagers with the defending hero. The winner creates a gold token. The next time you would lose a wager this turn, instead, you may discard a card. If you do, you win the wager. Has go again. It is a pirate action and it blocks 3. Basically, it does everything you could ever want a card to do. Maybe playable in Gravy, but it's great for Marlin.
What do you mean maybe? This is the most busted card of all time
Sure.
in Gravy.
It is a red. It has some pullback. Come on.
Attack action.
It says attack action.
It's like not an auto.
You play this card. What does a gold do in Gravy Bones?
What?
A gold says you draw a card and put a man in grave.
You play this on
What
half
is
the
it?
attacks in Gravy. It says go on your opponent's field.
No, you didn't let me finish, man.
Okay,
Can I finish?
go ahead.
Okay. A gold, I'm going to start again. A gold draws you a card and puts a man in the graveyard. This card does 3 damage and puts a man in the graveyard because if you would lose the wager, you discard a card or you get the gold. So 3 damage is a card. That's like colloquially how Flesh and Blood works. A little bit different in Gravy, of course, but in general, 3 damage is a card and you put a man in grave. So like where do you lose in this card in Gravy Bones?
When
You either
draw
win and get a
there's
gold.
no attack action card.
But it blocks 3.
Sometimes you're playing an ally deck.
It's also red. Your red slots are limited in the game. I'm not saying this card is not good. I'm just saying to say like it's slam dunk smash it is like I think a little.
I'm just
bit
saying it has no
hyperbolic.
downside in Gravy Bones outside of the things of
It
red.
has like all of the relevant
text,
downsides that a Gravy card could have.
the text of the card doesn't have the downside that I think it's supposed to have as a wager card, is what I meant. Like,
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with
you're
that.
completely fine if you lose the wager. It doesn't matter at all in Gravy Bones compared to other pirates.
It depends. If the playline is don't activate Gravy all turn, end with an ally in hand, be able to arsenal the card that I draw if I win the wager, then yes. But even then, it's like still kind of a narrow case.
Why do you draw a card if you win the wager?
Let me explain. So you play the thing. You have the ally in hand. If you win the
Yep.
wager, you want to activate the gold to discard the ally.
Yeah.
If you lose the wager, you obviously you just discard the ally. But
You're
in order
saying
to
you
like
are some
take full
random card off the
advantage of
top.
this, in order to take full advantage of this, you have to have no other cards, and so you have to not activate Gravy the whole turn, draw this plus an attack plus an ally, and then end with the ally in hand. And then if your opponent just lets you win the wager, then you activate gold and you hope that the card you draw is able to be used effectively.
But the card that you draw should always be able to be used because it can either be used to pitch to summon your man
You
or
might not
arsenal.
have go again on your attack action. Not all the attacks.
What attack actions do you play in Gravy with no go again, man?
Bones when you don't like. What do you play that do have go again? It's like Murderous Rabble, Conqueror, which is really hard to
Tipple,
resolve with this. In that
Tipple,
situation, Swell.
every single card in your deck.
You can't say every card in your deck when it's like literally not.
I'm just saying, what attacks does he actually play that don't have go again? Like you throw in the fearless, like okay, sure. That
He
one
doesn't
go
play
again.
that many attacks. It's not that he doesn't have that many that don't have go again. It's that he just doesn't have that many attacks that have go again because he doesn't have that many attacks. Pull up a Gravy Bones deck list.
I feel like there's insane cap happening on the screen right now.
Well, while you're doing that, this is also phenomenal for Marlin.
Yeah, this is broken.
Okay, you talk about that.
It's like it's super sick because I mean, Gravy can do this as well, but you get to activate your gloves, your hook, because you're guaranteed to hit gold. So you can double gold with Marlin, which is like literally what Marlin needs. Marlin just needs
Usually
some.
sets you up for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
No
like
matter what.
yeah, you just like draw one of these early. It's like another card that if you draw it early, you do the thing. Now you're set up for the rest of the game, and it's like it's basically what Marlin is needed. There are lines where if you're afraid you're not going to hit, you can always be holding a harpoon, like one of your yellow crappy harpoons in your hand that you made off gold beforehand, and then if this doesn't hit, you discard that. If it does hit, then you get the arsenal, the harpoon, which is not like the end of the world. So it does have some play lines there. I think this card is just great for Marlin. And it's not more like, while it does help the deck function and do more things, it's not more harpoons that rip cards out of your hand.
Yeah. No, looking at this Gravy deck, outside of the Conquerors, there are 9 attack actions that just
Where do you
have
see
go.
9? I see
It's
Tipple.
Swell, Tipple, Murderous Rebel, and then like the Bones are
You're
sometimes.
saying outside of Conqueror. Conqueror is also a thing that works.
Well, but if your line is trying to go like play Conqueror, also play this other red card, also hold an ally, I'm just gonna like laugh at you if that counts for the ratios of the card. Like that's such a specific hand.
But if you're throwing Conqueror for 11, aren't you also just fine if they blocked their entire hand? Then you won.
That's probably true. I think
That means you could probably dry hook later and then still get a gold and like it's lit.
maybe.
Well, you're probably
I'm
not
saying it's
making a
always bad
guy.
for Conqueror, but like I think that
Yeah.
it's less clean and it doesn't always work.
Also, people play red swell. Don't forget that.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Human beings do these things.
I think
I'm
I
not
think
concerned about Gravy Bones players with rational minds. I'm concerned about terrorists. Like these are the people I lose.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is another card that the terrorists can use to bomb me.
Speaking of which, I can't believe I'm finally on the Cheeto train and we haven't even talked about it.
Oh, true. We can talk about that guy.
Surely
We're just
this
gonna
is
keep
like the
pumping out
last,
2-hour podcast, huh?
yeah, surely this is the last CC deck we talk about, right? Fi's good too. I got good cards. He got 2 of them.
Yeah.
Play some Fi. Have fun. Anyway.
What about RKO?
Yeah, RKO got some lit cards, dude. Noah, do you want to read the Chains of Eminence?
Oh yes, dude, it's my time to shine. This is what I'm good for.
You've been getting more and more flavorful and animated with these readings as we go on. I'm excited to hear.
Okay, who goes first?
Any of them. You
Chain of Brutality.
Yep, Chain.
That's the one I think is the best.
Do whatever you want, man.
Okay.
You're the reader.
Chain of Brutality.
We can't read.
So firstly, I don't know who this brute is on the artwork, but he is completely ripping out the guts of this man on the art. It is extremely violent. And the it's always funny to me to see this artwork on a card that has base 2 power, you know? Like there's this guy who's like 500 pounds, like literally ripping someone's guts out. I'll attack for 2. Okay. But anyways, Chain of Brutality. Reviled Brute action attack. Attack for 2, block for 3. If it has 6 or more power, it gets go again. And when this hits a hero, the next attack action card you play this turn has 6 base power. So this has the potential to be a 0 for 7, go again, if it hits. talk more?
This card is wild.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah. This card's nanners.
Keep going.
That's it. You don't want to
Yeah,
talk
that's
about
it.
the plays you can do?
Let's elaborate a little bit.
Okay.
But like obviously in RKO, most of your attacks are small things that have beneficial effects when you turn them into base 6, because they get effects outside of just their stats. So most of the attacks in your deck that you're going to target with this are going to be probably getting some additional value on them. But even if they're not, just like turning some small thing into 6 afterwards is just like ridiculous.
So one thing that is thematic about the name is if you happen to draw 2 of this, you can play 1. If it hits, it turns the next one into a 6, and then it hits, and then you play another one. Yep. You can actually just chain the brutality.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most powerful plays. We played a little bit of this deck on in Sage on the stream. This being a rare means it's playable in Sage. It is extremely powerful when you start with a front pump. So something like, I'm failing the name. What's the name of the 2 for 4? Villainous Pose. Yeah, Villainous Pose. Yeah, you play Villainous Pose or Prime the Crowd, one of the 2 cost pump for 4s. You have a blue plus 1 additional floating to threaten RKO activation, but this is already coming in for 6 go again. So you really put your opponent in an awkward spot there where they're either going to be taking 4 damage, which can be pretty significant when they start at 20, or you're threatening RKO on Chainlink 2. So I think being able to like front pump this is really strong, because one of the problems is if you just, dirty attack with this, 3 cards in hand, your opponent can just block 6, deny the hit effect every time, because it's very face up what you're going to do. So I think having the like a front pump on this is like extremely strong, and that was like I think what I missed in my initial evaluation of this that makes it a lot better.
It is a little hard because that line requires a perfect 4 cards of this card, the pump, 2 blues, and then another attack that you can play. So you have to have like a relatively perfect 5 card hand, but it is mostly cards that are replaceable.
But your opponent also doesn't know.
Yeah.
Like when you have 2 cards back, like you could not actually be able to RKO. Like you could just have a 4 card hand.
Indeed. Yeah, I think the strength of this card is we don't see cards like this printed very often, where they're basically like on rate, and then just if they hit, I guess it's kind of like a snatch style, right? Where like they're on rate, and then if they hit, they just go like crazy plus. So into all of the aggressive matchups that I think were maybe where he struggled a little bit before, like this just gives you some crazy efficient damage potential on very few cards.
Yeah, this seems like the type of card that can really swing the life total back in your favor if you had to take some damage.
Yeah,
it's also good when like they are in the blockout style and you need to resolve your 5 cards that you have. Like this is a very good card to help do that. Yeah,
it is just to go again.
Yes, that's a big deal. They really need it.
Yeah.
Especially if they end up losing their claw, it ends up being a problem.
Yep. Would you also read Leave Him Speechless? Because this card did exactly that when I first read it.
Oh, you think this card is a playable card in Flesh and Blood?
I'm gonna remind you that the top deck in the game is Acilio as you continue reading this card.
Okay. Leave Him Speechless. It's a punch action, explode out of a guy's mouth. It blocks 2. It costs 0, and it's blue. If you have more life than each other hero, you may play this as though it were an instant. So you got to check the life totals of everybody at your table. Make sure you got more. When it enters the arena, name a card. The named card can't be played from hand while this is in the arena. Notably, it just can't be played from hand, so they can still pitch it. At the beginning of your action phase, destroy this. So it does not naturally have go again, meaning you have to, if you want to play this on your opponent's turn or just play it without an action point, you have to have more life than them. Just one note beforehand is there's these new gloves that say if you have the same life as your opponent, it counts as you having more. So, if you are able to maintain, just keep that in mind when you think about all RKO cards and moving forward, that you can have the same life and it still works. So basically, this card is like Null Time Zone, Chains of Eminence, one of these types of cards that we've seen exist in the past, but this is one of the easiest to play as an instant if you are ahead of them. Especially considering Acilio starts lower than you, it's reasonable to have happen.
Yeah, and the other deck as well that this is really powerful against, which is Dio. I think against Dio, playing something like RKO, normally, even though you don't have literal information, sometimes you do with backup protocol. But I think this is quite often going to prevent your opponent from playing maximum velocity. And I think
Yeah.
if you have a way to consistently stop your opponent from doing that, Dio probably just can't beat you, fatiguing them.
My biggest problem with these types of cards, I agree that it's good into Acilio because it's similar to Amulet of Echoes in that on the combo turn, they're sort of forced to play in a certain way. Like they have to just keep spamming Gun in a Flash from hand. But these types of cards, you have to add, there's actually an additional line of text on the card which says pay 3 life because these are matchups where you're blocking. So by casting this card, you're not blocking for 3.
Yeah. I think for this card to be good, it really has to like name a power card, and that has to be very relevant. But I think given that Acilio and Dash.io are two of the premier aggro decks right now, it just does make this card really strong. This is also so much better than Amulet of Echoes versus Acilio if it actually resolves in the way that it's trying to, because they don't really have ways to play around it, in the sense that like they don't know when it's going to happen when they go to pop their stuff, and this actually gets them to pop their boots for basically nothing, or for like maybe one swing. Yeah, I mean if they go like no blocks, 5-card hand, or like 7-card hand or whatever it is, like pop boots, Gone in a Flash, and then you play this and name Gone in a Flash, you're gonna prevent 4 or 5 swings maybe, and then like also all of the amp that goes along with all of that, and any value they got from I think it's really strong in those two matchups. And then obviously moving forward, there's also probably some other matchups where it would be very strong. Gravy maybe.
It could end up seeing some level of play as well. I don't disagree with that.
I think it's also pretty good against Gravy in some spots.
Correct me if is this searchable with the discard card, so you could just keep it in your sideboard?
I believe it says a reviled attack action.
Is it attack action? Okay.
But it is an aura, so you can tutor it off of Imposing Visage in Lyeth.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's relevant. Like you could do it.
That could be.
This card's also a lot more appealing in Lyeth.
Imagine you're the best player of all time, and you tutor this, and then you do the cut a long story short. So like, all right, you better combo. Okay, you didn't combo, now lose your whole hand. It'd be lit.
Yeah. You can talk about the much better card of Insult to Injury Blue.
Yeah, Insult to Injury. I mean, in all colors, it does a similar role, but they actually are very smart, they being LSS here, in planning for Mandible Claw to go away, printing more go against for KO. I will read. Insult to Injury. What's up, man? You can't wait for what I'm about to say.
I will read. Thanks.
Okay. This reminds me of, I don't know, maybe 1% of our listeners can relate to this, but my uncle plays mud football. It's like the most ridiculous sport. I don't know if it exists outside of America, but this reminds me of this. Like they literally play football like in 3-foot deep mud. So he's just like putting this dude in the mud. 0 cost, reviled action attack. It's rainbow, so it attacks for 1, 2, and 3. When this attacks a hero, if you have more life than them, this gets go again. So yeah, super simple card, but like Cody said, this is extremely high impact in states of the game, especially in like Silver Age where they start super low in life, but also just at the end of the game in CC. Like you really fork your opponent in having go again with RKO's ability active to just threaten +5. You're every card you play with go again, I think is just like
RKO once per turn.
Hard for them to deal with. Good.
Is RKO once per turn?
It is. You tap it.
Okay.
So in theory, no, you could play that card from Super Slim, or was the set with the boats? High Seas. There's a set. Yeah, High Seas you can untap.
That's okay. Well, tit for tat, and then give it twice.
Tit for tat. Thank you.
Yeah. But this blue is just auto into the deck.
Yeah. Even I think the red has some place in certain variations of the deck. Head Jab is not a card that this deck had access to for the Gravy Bones matchup.
No, that is fair.
You have Head Jab. Yeah.
No, but it's not Head Jab. It says when this attacks a hero because LSS hates everybody who doesn't play Gravy Bones.
Oh, well then, never mind, of course. Yeah.
Come on. You could have good tools against Gravy Bones? No.
Silly me. Can we read one more reviled card before we stop looking at this stuff?
Sure.
You want to read the one relevant card that's left?
Snarky prick. Is that what you're talking about?
Of course.
Okay. What if the next stream is just a stream of me reading that we do? I'm just gonna
Bedtime
read.
stories.
Let us
stories.
know how Noah's reading ability is in
Yeah.
the comments.
Yeah. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think so. I've
Personally, this card is nice because it gets back to that nice blue shade that we had in the reviled cards from the other thing. I feel like these other ones were like way too red. It was like a bit disconcerting. This is a nice mix of red and blue. It's pleasing for the eye.
Okay.
Snarky prick, which is also ironic too because it's the card that cares about red.
Yeah.
It's a rare. It only comes in one color. 0 cost, attacks for 1, blocks for 3, reviled attack action. When this attacks a hero, look at the top card of their deck. Notably, they don't get to see, you just look. If it's red, destroy it, and this gets +4. So currently, the rules are a bit unclear here. I don't know if they'll clear it up. If you see like a red Fiddler's Green and you just don't want to tell your opponent it's red, what happens? But I'm pretty sure for now, like you see it's red, you destroy it, keep it simple. This is a 0 for 5, but it has the 1 base power, so it's the same rate as a Mocking Blow. In that if you pump it with RKO ability, it'll go up to 9. Destroying a card from the top of their deck. I don't think KO was typically beating redline aggro decks by attrition fatiguing them, so that's not super relevant, but just the fact that this is another red Mocking Blow rate card seems fantastic for him.
And also Laya in the same matchups. For the same reason.
You could play this in live,
Yeah, 0 for 5 versus Syndra is pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. That's the part that's good about it for sure. Yeah, I never really considered playing this in live. I guess it's fine. I feel like live has the problem of like you want your attacks to be really high impact. This is just like a number.
It's just Mocking Blow. It's just, any deck that would want to play Mocking Blow. This is a different way to get there, but it is a similar effect.
Yeah, it's notably pretty different in that you usually want the tokens.
Yeah,
but
not getting the boo is quite relevant, obviously. But.
You can't have it. You're kicking it too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of more cool stuff to talk about, but we only have so much time.
So now I have to ask though. You've said there's a bunch of other cool stuff to talk about. We have literally talked about new cards from the set for almost 2 hours now. Is it Hopium? Is the set Hopium or is it Copium?
No, it's Dopium, dude. All this stuff's sick. Like all of these new cards, like they do all these really cool, unique things. It doesn't change any of the metas, and like the game is still the same. And none of these cards are very good, but like they're all sick.
They're all really cool to talk about.
Yeah, no, I think probably some amount of these cards will go into decks that are good, but I don't think there's a single card in this set other than I think Blunton might be the only one for me where I'm like, this is a really good card that goes in a good deck and meaningfully changes
we need to have like a scare meter, like Monsters Inc. How they they go into the room, they scare, and it charges up the meter. What card actually triggers your scare meter besides Blunton? Like the rest of the cards, like okay, like whatever, like maybe something bad happens sometimes, but Blunton is like I'm always down horrendous. I'm discarding a card.
I think maybe some of the Valda cards, like the Valda card, the block card that lets you pitch up to 3 and make those.
You're scared of dig in. Someone blocks with dig in, and you're quaking in your boots.
Well, the instant make 3 surge card is like one of the best cards in that deck because it's just free dominate. This is like also free dominate.
Glyph power spell scares me. I'm just scared. I'm scared of better Acilio. Acilio is like the best deck in the game. I think it's actually probably too powerful, and it's getting more powerful, and it's making people run, more of the card that I was hoping people wouldn't run, because when you get hit for 10 in the mid game, you just lose the game on the spot. Like when Bird Bear resolves for 10, like the game's over. Like it doesn't really matter what happens for the rest of the game. Almost no deck can, because it means they attacked you like 2 or 3 times, and then they also played the 10, and they probably still have their combo up. So it's like, okay. And this being them able to do it more consistently and also just a better card for their deck. I don't know. Acilio scares me. I think it's probably too powerful.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through. I'm looking for anything even remotely close to Blunton. The new Earth channel is like maybe good.
Dude,
all of the cards that I'm interested in.
2 card 4, I'm so scared. Yeah.
That's like all the cards that I think are interesting are just like for heroes that don't exist. Like Florian gets a bunch of cooler cards. That card would have been crazy in Florian, right?
It would have been okay.
I
Really?
think the offhand
Wait,
for
what are you talking
Vincent
about?
is a big deal.
It's literally a 2-card. Like you go Reaping Blade.
It costs 3, right? I'm not crazy.
It costs 2.
Oh, it's the best card of all time.
You're also Florian. So when you're on,
yeah, so it makes 3. I thought it cost 3. Forget everything I said. Oh yeah, this card's lit.
Yeah,
I mean it's not lit because Florian's banned, but
exactly. There's a bunch of cards like that. Yeah. So like that's why I was saying I think it's similar to Dynasty. Like there's a bunch of cards that I am actually legitimately excited about, but like in terms of the relevant heroes right now, I think they are the same as they were before this set. And for the most part, none of them got like large meaningful upgrades. Like they all got some stuff that's good, but yeah, I don't know. Fang just got a new hat.
I think the offhand for Vincent could legitimately be like a 5 to 10% bump in win rates. Just
well, but that's where I go back to my statement. It's in 2 parts. It's got to be a relevant hero and also be.
Yeah, but it could make the hero relevant. It is actually that powerful.
I've played a lot of Inset.
It is actually that powerful, though. It might not be enough, but it is actually that powerful.
I agree with the words you're saying. You're right, and I'm wrong, but it's okay.
It might not matter.
The Fang hat's pretty lit. Fealty tokens you control can't be destroyed by opponents' effects. If you control 3 or more fealty tokens, it's temper 2.
Wait, we're recording so long we're getting spoilers mid-podcast.
Yeah, of course.
We just keep it on until we get all the cards.
Oh, dude, this card. Do you guys think this card's any good?
Yeah, but what are we doing, man?
No, we'll do it live, man.
Where do you see it? Actually, where do you see it?
It's in purple.
Hmm.
Our spoiler thing is delayed a little bit.
Okay, so do we want to talk about any other spoilers?
No, it's not worth talking about.
We're ready? Okay.
You can't get scoured. Congrats.
Okay. Let's go to some podcast questions. These are asked by premium members of our Metafy. If you'd like to be able to ask questions on the podcast, talk to us in Discord, find people to practice with, and a host of other things, feel free to join in the link below. It is a whole of $5. We would very much appreciate your support. Millen asks, a lot of people compare Compendium to Everfest and Crew. Do you think same, or is it similar to Dynasty? Since in both sets are a lot of cards that do not fit decks at first sight. I think we already know, Lucas, here.
Excellent question, Millen.
Is this where you net decked your opinion? It was
like
no, it just feels like Dynasty. Like I feel the same way I felt when Dynasty came out, because I was actually playing back then.
Oh, okay. Is that a roast? Like, what do you mean?
No, I was playing that. Like, it's an old.
Your tone was very.
He
roasty.
Said it like it was a roast. He's like,
yeah,
got you, Noah.
No, sorry.
Yeah, like what?
Noah was also playing back then, right?
I know. That's why I was so confused by the roast.
No, I was no roasting.
Maybe I sucked, but like I was still trying.
I don't know. It's probably you're probably right. It's probably closer to Dynasty, but I have a lot of Hopium right now, so we'll see.
To be fair, also like this is a Sage set. We didn't talk about Sage at all.
I talked about Sage. What do you mean? I feel like every card I brought up like it's Sage implications.
We mentioned Sage a lot, but like we didn't talk about Sage super in depth, which is obviously like the main focus of the set. And also, it's better than Dynasty was, I think. Like Dynasty was actually like 4 heroes got cards and then a bunch of stuff for later.
Yeah.
This is like I think basically every hero gets like 1 to 4 cards from this set that are at least slight upgrades. And there's like at least niche matchup stuff for basically everybody. So I think in practice is probably closer to Everfest. But I think in terms of like meta impact, Dynasty is a set that is more apt. Where like I don't think it'll change the meta too much. Maybe some heroes will become a little bit better, and then as years go on, we will see this set and its impact come to fruition a little bit.
Like you read Dynasty cards, man, and they're OP. Like you read Leave No Witness, Surgical,
Hanabi Blaster,
Heat Seeker, Drill Shot, Hanabi Blaster,
Yeah,
Pulse Wave. Like, Dude, there were some bangers.
There's some bangers in here too. They're just not legal. We mentioned like all the Florian cards. Like some of these Mystic cards are good. Like a bunch of these cards are good in
But
draw.
they're not like heat. Like you read Leaf No Witness, man, you're sweating.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. Blunton is definitely the only card so far. I think you said it perfectly. It was the only card that gives me any fear at all.
Yeah.
It's the only card that I wish was not in my opponent's deck.
Yeah.
However, it has made me want to play Teklovasan and RKO. So
True.
Yes.
So
I think RKO might be the like an actual like this deck goes up a tier or two. I think the cards that he got are like very good.
they're very good. To be fair.
In this meta.
I mean, Teklovasan also probably goes up a tier or two because he was really far down.
Teklovasan goes up like 2.5 tiers. I think for what it's worth, he got so much more support than everybody else, and it's not close. But the problem is he went from like maybe like the worst hero in the game to like a playable functional hero that wins games. I don't know. His matchup into those other bad heroes was really bad. Like he wasn't beating Max or Betsy. Like Betsy cooks Teklo.
I think it would be fun to try and qualify from this ProQuest season on Teklo. I think that would be an enjoyable mission.
Yeah. You should come up to New Hampshire.
I hope you enjoy it.
Oh, that'd be free.
I'll be
if I came up
qualifying
to
with
New Hampshire.
That'd be free. Okay.
And now I'm gonna play in the toughest tournaments here in my area.
Oh, I see. Sure.
King of Mice asks, thoughts on who will be rising up in the post-meta pin? Do you think pin is the anti-ally push needed for Tipple to finally be brought back?
Well, they made Acilio really good. That's the anti-ally.
Yeah, Acilio is like the best deck in the game. Like that's done.
Yeah, Acilio is, I think it'll take a little bit, but I think that will be like the deck to beat. I think Mario is also still like just one of the best decks. I think Mario is not as powerful as Acilio, but is able to deal with Acilio and is similarly powerful in a lot of the other matchups. I think that deck is just still really broken. RKO, I think that's the big one for me. I think he might be able to be built to be good into Mario and potentially good into Acilio. I don't know if either one of those things is actually true, but he has a lot of tools for both of them, and he got a lot of new good cards.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I think the rule change might have more impact into Gravy than anything they printed.
Yeah, but I really don't know how I feel about this tone of like Tipple to finally be brought back. Like it's a good thing for Gravy to get cards.
Yeah. Also, like there was no anti-ally hate. There was like the one card that banishes a yellow from graveyard. These other anti-ally cards are the most troll. Like they're literally Tales of Aria cards. Like they're actually like one cost. I have an elemental talent. I don't do anything. Like it's ridiculous. Yeah. Freeze up to 3 target allies until the start of your next turn. Why does this shit cost 1? You could give me a resource and I wouldn't play this card.
It's literally Cold Snap, but you get less effect.
You get less effect. You freeze up to 3 target allies, and then because you're an ice hero, you dominate them. So that's what it is. You play this from your arsenal, then you draw a card, and then you play Entwine Ice, and they die. Like, what are we doing, guys? Like, come on, go back to the drawing board. Try again.
To be fair, what the set really did is it made me miss all of my missed heroes.
That was mean.
I want all my missed heroes back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I was so mean. I just saw a bunch of ice cards and they were all terrible. I got sad.
Oh, I didn't think you were that mean.
Oh, I did. I felt it in my. I felt the meanness in my.
Okay. No, you were great, man.
Michael asks, if you had developed Sage, what cards besides those that are already banned would you ban and why? Oldhim.
Briar.
Sigil of Suffering, and then also Sigil of Suffering, and then maybe also Sigil of Suffering. And then I would ban Snatch and all those 4-block yellows. Like, those just shouldn't exist in the game, I don't think. There you go. Nothing to add, Cody?
No. Let's
go from there.
I said Oldhim. I said Oldhim, and you said 4-block. So I think that's fine too. But mainly Oldhim. Yeah,
but also Sigil of Suffering. It's just like such a stupid card. Okay. we continue.
Darken asks, are they going to ban Stormstriders? If so, are any of you interested in buying a large collection?
Nice.
I think so.
I don't think so. I assume the question is because they printed those boots that are kind of like Stormstriders, but you have to like block with them, and then when the chain closes, then you get to have Stormstriders. But I don't think they're going to ban Stormstriders.
Especially when Verdant's LLs. I think if they ban Stormstriders, it'll be because they designed the next wizard that comes out. That's going to be way too broken with them.
That's
Fair.
what I'm saying.
It could be post Verdance, like they did with.
I
I
think they will ban Striders like they banned Crown of Seeds, where once
agreed.
all of the heroes that used it are banned, they move on. They're like, hey, this Waning Moon plus Stormstriders interaction is kind of lame-o. Let's not do this anymore. And then they just like print. Because the thing is, like right now with Striders, like all of the wizards that don't have a better boots or are like a stupid ignorant combo deck, they all just play like the same way, where they just like endgame use Striders.
Yeah, I agree. They could do that post Verdance rotation. Yeah.
I also think, for what it's worth, though, the new boots aren't just a Strider's replacement. This is going to sound stupid, but like it is best in slot sometimes as just like 0 cost Mage Master boots. Like if you're playing a potion-y wizard game plan, like currently, if I was playing like Surgeon Aethertide Verdance into like Pleiades, like I would consider something like this just to help me set up like my potions throughout the game. Like the fact that it's free and it doesn't have to be a wizard non-attack. Like there are reasons to play the new boots as well.
Fair. Foxmane asks, if LSS decided to make an animated show like Arcane, which Flesh and Blood storyline do you think they should portray for their first season?
Monarch.
Yeah, Monarch. And then their second season, and then their third season.
Yeah.
No, it shouldn't be all Monarch. Like you got to do like the Slaying of the Emperor.
Well, but the thing is though, Monarch, the way the story worked is like it was the Monarch heroes, and then we like went off and learned about all the other heroes, and then we came back to Monarch. So it's like perfect for a show.
Yeah. Right.
Like if you look at it as Arcane, right? Like Monarch is just the like main city, and then they're like, we'll meet all the other guys throughout the seasons.
You don't want to give Riot any publicity. Just call it the main city.
The main city.
I can't remember its name, which is probably even better. Don't even say it.
Piltover and Zon.
Okay. You lost.
Yeah. Wardo77 asks, Command and Conquer now has 5 different art treatments. Which is your favorite and why? Is the newest version a flavor fail? Nothing will beat Point. Guy who points. Guy who points is the best.
I do like the first version. Yeah. Although to be fair,
Guy who points.
I'm gonna reserve judgment. If I see this one in real life and it looks nice, I might scoop up these ones. But for now, I just use the Rainbow Foil Crew ones.
Yeah, if you showed me all the arts and I had never seen any of them before, I'd probably say the newest one. Like I think the newest one does look pretty cool, but
yeah, I agree.
The original one is iconic. That's the best CNC art. That's it.
But I like the new one. I think the new one's cool.
If I can swap the new one in the pimp version for my current Rainbow Foils, maybe I would do that. That offer's out there to anybody.
Yeah.
They've been touched by my hands, if that adds any value.
Yeah.
Or maybe it removes value.
They might try
Yeah.
Mike at Blockout Party asks, can you name the 2 generic attack actions that have unconditional dominate? And the 3 generic attack actions that can gain dominate?
I feel like this is crazy that he gave us the numbers. I feel like we can't miss this.
Okay, Overload. What's the other one?
What's the one that reveals from hand from Welcome to Wraith?
I don't remember, but I know.
Pound for a pound.
No.
That is one of them.
That's one of the unconditional
that's
ones.
One of the gains.
Well, you're so right. You're so
that's
right.
One of the conditional
There's
ones.
pound for a pound and
Demolition.
What'd you say?
Demolition Crew.
That's the one you reveal. And then Regurgitating Slog.
Yep.
Those are the 3 conditional, and then
another unconditional dominate. Is there like
Overload is 1?
Is there like a 0 for 1 dominate thing?
That's Overload Blue.
No. Like I feel like there's like some like really tiny card with dominate.
I think that's Overload.
No, no,
I thought that
no,
was just like a no text, just dominate attack that was like 3 cost or something, and it was like it's like a
Like
3
3 for
it's like a
6 or
3
something?
for 6 that says dominate on it. Like I was pretty sure that existed.
That seems like it should be a card. Hmm.
generics just with dominate.
Yeah, just has dominate printed on it.
Yeah, I'm at a loss. I don't know.
And it's some draft chaff.
Yeah.
Is it like?
What
Is it like
sets had dominate?
Is it like lose dominate if you do something to it?
Feels like it's like a WTR card.
Yeah.
It's not a WTR card because we'd know it. I feel like.
Would we?
Yeah, those because we know those generics, bro. We've lived in a time where we had to scrounge through them, bro.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure there's just like a card that has dominate printed on it. That's just like a shitty 6. I don't know. You want the answer?
I believe you.
Yeah. We lost.
I feel bad. I feel bad that he gave us the number and we still didn't get it. We're pathetic.
We
Oh, nourishing emptiness, bro.
Oh,
it's Demolition Crew
Wait,
and
what?
Overload for unconditional.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
Demolition Crew is one of the shitty ones. Okay.
Nourishing emptiness, man.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Oh.
Oh, does Demolition Crew just has dominate? Oh, we
Yeah.
fucked up. Wait,
Yeah.
I feel like we totally would have gotten it if we knew that it gained dominate. We just had it flipped. I feel like we totally would have gotten that eventually.
Yeah.
We just put
That's a card that I've probably registered in my life of playing Flesh and Blood as well.
It's actually probably the only card out of like all the things we named that any of us have ever actually.
Yeah.
played.
That's true.
I mean, Noah's played Slogism before, but not the regurgitating.
Yeah, none of this regurgitating slog nonsense. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We only play good
What is,
cards.
what is dominate? It's not even a real keyword. I don't play that. I'll let my opponent block. Blocking is a misplay already.
Well, I guess we'll find out where this set ends up. Good luck to everyone who's going to be playing in London coming up. I'm excited to watch. I don't know. I'm still in Hopium mode. We'll see what happens when it comes out and we get to play some more games.
Yeah, I still think it's dopium, guys.
The set
Great
is
job.
cool.
Nice.
I think it's worth getting for sure, especially with the reprints and everything else that's going to be in it. And a lot of these cards are probably going to be pretty impactful moving forward. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the set. We'll just see if it makes a meta change because we kind of need it.
And if you enjoy listening to my voice as well, don't forget I'm going to be streaming. I know this is over 2 hours ago at this point, but I'm going to be streaming every week. So yeah, listen to the announcement of when the next one of those is going to be. You can tune in, hear me live.
Okay. See ya.